Smith. We'll come back to it right after the kickoff.
Live to the kickoff. The ball hit downfield. Woodson tries to pick it up. Then Dwight Stone gets it and breaks into open field for the moment. He's not done yet. Across the 30 with a blocker, and Stone gets out to the 38-yard line. Nicely done by the Steelers on a broken kickoff play.
From behind the punt return team of the San Diego Chargers, watch Idolette is the center. Billy Ray Smith, 54, grabs a hold of him. Leaves an open lane for Vincey Glenn. He's there easily. That was certainly planned. That's 4 turnovers in the first 5 minutes of the football game, Don.
Every game, Vincey Glenn does something big. He did it to Newsom that time. A couple of weeks ago against Denver, he intercepted a John Elway pass and ran it back 103 yards for a touchdown. He intercepted one of the first throws last week at Houston.
Look at that defense, Don.
To the run they go. Pollard cuts back, gets some room, and the trap blocking works this time as on a first down carry. Frank Pollard hits it straight ahead and gets down to the out to the 45-yard line. Cleveland beats hapless Cincinnati 38-24. The AFC Central looks this way at the moment with the Browns taking a momentary lead. Houston's being beaten badly at New Orleans. They'll not win today. Pittsburgh, depending on what they do, and they're down 7-0. Browns could lead by themselves at the end of the day. Hand off to Pollard again, and a straight ahead run is good for a first down. He got about 4 yards.
And you see what San Diego's trying to do is commit 4 guys to the line of scrimmage. Pittsburgh countered by sending Abercrombie out in the flat. And you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 guys down at the line of scrimmage. They're trying to hit square up as best they can. Excellent run by Pollard, picks up the first down. Let's identify that defense again. This time they got just a straight 34 defense.
Steelers ready to run it again. Right from midfield, they're down 7-0. Malone play fakes the run, takes a look. He's got a man. Abercrombie out of the backfield, down inside the 45-yard line and down to the 44. So Malone, as he sees new defenses by the Chargers, geared to stop the run and force him to pass. This time takes a swing out look and gets the ball nicely. Elvis Patterson made the stop, but there's a gain on the play of 6 yards for Pittsburgh.
One thing Pittsburgh does very well, a lot of audibles at the line of scrimmage, and apparently what San Diego's going to do in their defense today, it's going to really be a lot of pressure on Mark Malone to identify the defense first. Once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 guys committed to the line of scrimmage.
Pitch back to Pollard. Inside the 45. Turns the corner. He's got a first down as Frankie Pollard, who you remember fumbled on his first carry of the day, coughing it right back over to San Diego, and the Steelers had great field position. Now starts to run the ball as he's done in recent games.
Excellent job by the Steeler offensive line of at least getting a hat on a hat. There's a big block too. It looked like Wolfley got the defensive end down. Bayless finally, he gets cut. We've got Plummer and also Walters out there on the tackle.
Idolette and Ilkin are the tackles. Wolfley and Long the guards. The all-pro Webster at center. Malone, pump faking, gets time, gets it away. Blocked at the 24-yard line. Stallworth was the intended receiver, and the incomplete pass stops the clock with 6:59 to play.
Pressure that time from Joe Phillips, the defensive end, so at least San Diego is getting some penetration on this offensive line.
Buffalo Bills move into a first-place tie in the AFC East with Indianapolis, routing the favored Colts today, 27-3 into the third quarter. The Colts had minus yardage.
I think we're going to see Pittsburgh spending a lot of time in the huddle today to try to come up with maybe 2 plays to call it the line of scrimmage.
Winkstale wide to the right.
This is a run. This is a run.
Stack to the left. End up goes. Pollard takes it up the middle, holding on to the ball on a 2nd and 10 play. He gets down to the 32-yard line. What they're doing there, Trump, is spreading out the defense by putting 3 wideouts in.
Well, when they move Abercrombie, someone from the defense has got to commit to Abercrombie. And when that linebacker steps out of there, there's one last guy that the offensive line has to block. This time, Billy Ray Smith, 54, does a great job of filling the gap. Brings up 3rd down at about 6. But Pittsburgh's having problems identifying this defense.
3rd down and 6. Steelers with the ball. 2 wide receivers to the right. Wing set to the left. Here's a blitz. They pick it up, but the incomplete throw is over the middle. Looking for a personal foul call on the defense was Charles Lockett, who thought he was fouled going down the middle of the field. There was no flag. Danny Walters was covering. Now the field goal unit comes out. Anderson, one of the best in football, ready to hit it. Malone 1 for 5.
They got to get the chalkboard out over there on the sideline. Pittsburgh does, and so far that San Diego changeup defense is creating some confusion for Pittsburgh.
Anderson, as you see, 8 for 8 against the Chargers. 7 in a row he's made this season. That's not going to get there. Might have been partially tipped at the line of scrimmage. It's way short, and so the Steeler drive again comes up empty. And the Chargers will take over the ball, hold to a 7-0 lead.
And an offensive lineman, James Fitzpatrick, number 70, gets a push up there, hands up, and the ball just tips off of Fitzpatrick's hand, comes up short. So San Diego gets the ball at their own 32, leading 7-0.
They called Fitzpatrick Fatspatrick last year. He came in at way over 300 pounds out of Southern California, but he's trimmed down some now.
There's the San Diego defense. They're building on something here. It's working to this point. A few minor changes.
1st and 10 for the Chargers. They lead 7-0 and a block punt into the end zone. Fouts with time dumps it off. Kellen Winslow has him. He hits blockers. Winslow is out to the 41-yard line. 1st down swing pass play to the tight end. Gets a gain of 8 yards as Thomas Everett, the free safety, made the knockdown for the Steelers.
You see Fouts looking to the sideline for the call. That's one of the real difficult things about the San Diego offense. They have like 4 options in their offense. Downfield, to the side field, and there always seems to be that screen outlet. That time that was the screen outlet to Winslow.
Has hit 6 of 7 for 63 yards on a short yardage play. 2nd and 2. They go to the run, and Spencer takes it ahead for what looks like a 1st down. Inside linebacker David Little and defensive end Keith Gary were on the stop for the Steelers.
Don, we started the ball game wondering about just exactly the big factors for San Diego, and that was converting 3rd downs, and that's their 3rd straight 3rd down they've converted. You can see the difference in the losing streak to the 8-game winning streak plus the loss in the 1st game.
1st down and 10 for San Diego from the Chargers 43-yard line. Dropping to throw, Dan Fouts. He takes a look. More time and another completion out to the 49-yard line as the Steelers attack the ball but can't break it free from the receiver. Coming down with it was Rod Bernstein, the rookie tight end. Reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser most valuable player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. One interesting aspect of this game, this is really Steeler weather. Steelers got a big break coming out here and playing in what amounts to 30-degree temperatures with the chill factor.
So far, San Diego likes it too.
2nd down and 5 as Fouts dumps and throws it off, and with the ball is Kellen Winslow. Another big gainer for the San Diego Chargers as they're down inside the Steeler 35, down to the 33 with a free safety, Thomas Everett. Last line of defense got him after a 19-yard gain.
Ryan Hinkle was the man in coverage. One thing about this San Diego offense, they try to identify single coverage as best they can, and Winslow on Hinkle. Winslow won that one. That's another big 1st down, and I think this is Chuck Noll's biggest worry, that San Diego's offense gets in sync early.
Well, they've been in sync. Chargers moving the ball smartly. You'll remember their last 10-play 60-yard drive, though, resulted in a fumble. Then they scored on a blocked Steeler punt. Handoffs. Spencer takes it away and down close to the 30-yard line. His 1st down carry, good for about 3 or 4. David Little, the number 1 tackler on the Steelers, made the stop. Final in, the New Orleans Saints roll on to the playoffs. They're already in. They have the best record in the history of the franchise. They're now 10-3. The Oilers go to 7-6 on the season, and a game behind the Browns, who won today, beating Cincinnati with ease, 38-24. 2nd down, a long 8 coming up. Big Holohan. Fouts dumps it. Holohan, he's running free, and he might be heading for the end zone. Pete Holohan crashes down. He didn't get in. Kellen Winslow gets the dump-off pass, and Winslow is down inside the 5-yard line, down close to the 1, as the Chargers, who've done nothing offensively in the recent weeks, could threaten trying to blow this game open early. That was a 30-yard gain from him.
Don, I apologize to you. I yelled Holohan because he was wide open too. Watch him cross here. You see above the screen, there's Holohan standing out there. You can just see the bottom half of him. Then Winslow out on that tight end screen again. Excellent play call. How can that not be a touchdown? He's in the end zone.
Tight end screen both ways. And now a 30-yard gainer, and the Chargers have it point-blank range. They lead 7-0. Handoff over the top and into the end zone. There's the touchdown signal. Now another linesman waves it off. Let's see what we have.
We got a flag
over the top. That's a call by referee Jim Tunney, signaled against the Chargers.
Don, I tell you, that call by the officials that Kellen Winslow was not in the end zone could be a big call. They called the right guard, Dennis McKnight. Conan moving. There appears to be some inconsistencies about where they mark the ball. And a lot of times when a player goes in the end zone, you'll see him stretched out, and they give him a touchdown sometimes, and sometimes they don't. And now San Diego faced with first and goal from the 6.
Now it's first down and goal. Chargers lead at 7-0. Fouts with a quick drop. They pick up the blitz. Now Fouts is hit just as he tries to release the ball to Little Train James. Dan Fouts was crashed into by Greg Carr, an outside linebacker who got him from the blind side. Carr, a second-year backer from Auburn. As the Steelers, blitzing all game long, aren't picked up on that one.
No one touches Greg Carr from the outside. And you can see, give an assist to Mike Merriweather, 57 covering James. That allowed Fouts no receiver to go to.
Merriweather, an outside linebacker for Pittsburgh, number 57 on the other side, has been to the last 3 Pro Bowls. For the Chargers, who appeared to have a touchdown, all of a sudden find themselves second and goal from the 6-yard line.
Showing blitz.
Pitch back goes, running high with it is Curtis Adams. He's down to the 3-yard line. Tim Spencer gets the pitch back, and Everett, the free safety, came up and made the hit.
See that call by the officials. It's been reviewed, and the review official says that Kellen Winslow's knee was down, but I think you and I have both seen touchdowns awarded to players for stretching out like that. And now Chargers faced with a third and goal at the 4, make it 3.5.
Spencer, the lone setback, and third and goal from the 4-yard line. Pitch back to Spencer, and looks for room to go, and Spencer stopped at the 1-yard line. Jolting tackle put on. Elton Hall came up and helped on the play. Also on the stop for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Lorenzo Freeman, number 68.
Watch this play by Kellen Winslow. Now, they say his knee was down. That may be true, but I think we've both seen a lot of people stretch into the end zone and given a touchdown. That is very, very close. I mean, we've seen it go both ways. See, we can pick it up from another angle. That's Donnie Shell. There's no question his knee's down. I'm not arguing that. But we've also seen touchdowns awarded to people in just exactly that same situation. Charger player down in the end zone.
Can't identify him just yet. The first quarter clock is down to 47 seconds left to play. It is a 7-0 game, San Diego. Chargers scored when Vincey Glenn, one of their safeties, came up the middle unimpeded on a punt block play and slapped Newsom's punt down to the ground in the Steeler end zone. It was quickly funneled on by a rookie linebacker, David Brandon, and it's a 7-0 game. That's how it stands now. Might be Kellen Winslow who's being attended to. It is Kellen.
It's interesting, Don, that it's 4th down and about 1.5 yards, and Dan Fouts is still out there in the huddle.
Yeah,
it does not appear
a slump, and I don't think you do with field goals. They're looking for a second touchdown. We'll see what they go to when we come back after this timeout. Coming up early in this game, 47 seconds to go in the first quarter. It's 4th and goal for the Chargers, who lead 7-0 from the 1-yard line. Redden and Spencer are the runners. Pitch back to Spencer, and Tim Spencer fumbles the ball. He didn't get in.
Wait a minute. Wait for the official.
Touchback is ruled. Steelers get the ball at their 20. So the Steeler defense comes up. I don't know if Red and Trump tried to stick it out over the goal line or what, but he did lose the ball, and a touchback was signaled.
This is going to be reviewed, but of course that goal line is a plane straight up to an infinity. And if that ball crosses the goal line, then it can't be a fumble. He breaks it outside. Donnie Shell, 31, 57 Merriweather.
The ball was fumbled.
No, he fumbled.
Yes, sir.
On the 1 yard line and then went out of bounds. It'll be Pittsburgh's ball, first down, 1 yard line, first down.
There is no question about this. This is a great call by the officials. That is a very difficult one to see going full bore, but that ball is almost thrown into the end zone, and that's San Diego's second opportunity now lost.
Boy, that is a tough one, as Al Saunders cautioned Spencer to hold on as the Chargers had a chance to go up 14-0. Now it is ruled the ball was out of bounds. It was not a touchback. There was the touchback signal. That's been taken off. It's ruled it was out of bounds on the fumble.
Whoa, wait a minute.
So the Steelers go from their 1 yard line.
That ball was in the end zone, Don. That ball was fumbled into the end zone.
No touchback is given, though, and here is Malone from his end zone, and he takes a sack. It is a 9-0 game, San Diego.
Wait a minute. I know why that ball comes back to the 1 yard line. With the new rule change, you cannot advance the ball. It goes back to the spot where it's fumbled. That's why Pittsburgh had to go from their own 1 yard line. That time, Joe Phillips, Chuck Ian, they were there to make the sack and the safety. Malone had no place to throw it. What a strange game. 5 turnovers. San Diego fails on offense, and then on a punt return they block it, and then the defense gets the sack for the only points. There's 78, Chuck Ian in there. Now watch. The pressure comes from the outside. You can see they got 4 guys committed. They want to make Malone throw the football. Phillips got his hand up. Ian makes the sack for 2 points. Now Pittsburgh must punt from their own 20.
So it is a 9-0 game, San Diego, and the Charger defense has scored all the points, excepting the extra point kicked by the place kicker. A block punt for the touchdown, and now a safety, and the Chargers are going to get very good field position as the Steelers punter Harry Newsom will now free kick from his 20. San Diego leading the game 9-0 despite fumbling 3 times in the first quarter.
5 turnovers, and there's 36 seconds to go in the first quarter. And to review once again, the reason Pittsburgh got that ball at the 1 yard line, you could not advance a fumble, so it goes back to the spot where it was fumbled, and that's Pittsburgh's ball, and that resulted in the sack for safety.
Winds are gusting over 30 miles an hour here today in San Diego. Temperature at game time was 55, but you'd never believe it to be here because of the wind chill. The actual playing conditions, 30 degrees on the playing field. See the wind, it's a swirling, gusting wind. Newsom takes a look, makes sure his 10 people are ready to cover, and now he punts the ball and
Free ball.
Steelers appear to have it. They do indeed. It's a free ball and a free kick after 10 yards, and that might have been a called play.
That's 6 turnovers.
6 turnovers in the first quarter.
Daniel Hunter, though, showed some smarts.
Team San Diego, covered by Pittsburgh, first down.
You can see the fair catch here by Daniel Hunter. He's got his arm up. He realizes he will be allowed protection to catch that ball, but the wind holds it up, and it's such a lousy punt.
It's just a bad, you wouldn't dare punt it down 7-0 this early in the game.
No, that was not planned.
Picked it off his instep, end over end punt, but it breaks for the Steelers, and now
Merriweather was the recovery man.
He takes a break. Mike Merriweather and the Steeler offense will try again. They've been, for the most part, ineffective. Did have some good runs on their second possession, but other than that, they've not been close to points. Abercrombie tried to turn the corner. Run support from Betsy Glenn. Safety comes up. Also on the play was Gil Bird, number 22. Glenn came up, turned the play in, and cornerback Gil Bird makes the stop with 13 seconds to play in the first half. So the ball is now positioned at the 39-yard line. And that'll do it for the first quarter of play. 9-0. San Diego leads the game, and we'll be back in a moment. The Steelers today not doing much on offense, as you see. Fumble on their first play, first carry of the game. And then the block punt, touchdown San Diego. Missed field goal, not close. It was partially tipped by Fitzpatrick at the line of scrimmage. Next possession, a safety. And so it's a 9-0 game. The Chargers favored by 3 coming in with a 9-0 lead. Their own offense hasn't put the ball in the end zone, but the defense has scored all.
One thing that shows, though, is the 22 plays run in the first quarter by San Diego. A huge departure from the previous 3 weeks.
Yeah, San Diego's really had problems in the last 3 weeks. They've been outscored almost 3-1 and 98-38.
They've also given up 1,300 yards, and today
over 13, almost 440 a game they've given up.
And today the points from the punt return and the defense.
Malone not passing well. There's his coach, Chuck Noll. So far, Mark Malone is 1 for 5 for just 6 yards. It's tough to see if the wind is with you or against you. It appears to be with him to a degree now as the Chargers again bring people up. They're blitzing. Malone gets time, makes it. Good throw, it would seem, but Abercrombie drops the ball at the 45-yard line. Chuck Ian putting pressure on quarterback Mark Malone as Abercrombie coming out of the backfield couldn't hold it.
Total domination in time of possession and yards by San Diego. And I think you got to give a great deal of the credit to Ron Lynn, the defensive coordinator of San Diego. He's presented Pittsburgh with a new and different defense here. And you can see that they're having problems picking it up, trying to figure out exactly what it is. And that's a 4-man front. See Mark Malone looking it over, trying to figure it out. They are tempting him. They want him to throw the football.
They're down and 14 for the Steelers. Malone drops to throw from his 31. Triggers in the near flat. He's got a connection to E.G. Thompson at the 47-yard line of San Diego. So the first big offensive play with the passing game originates now in that throw. Malone to Thompson, good for 13 and a first down for the Steelers.
See the numbers between the two. Malone just his second completion. Dan Fouts right on the money. And I have a feeling that San Diego is going to continue to make Mark Malone throw that football.
You joined us late. Chargers have been doing a lot of different things on offense and particularly on defense. They have a 9-0 lead. Malone gets time against a 4-man rush. Lets it go long, and Thompson can't get to the ball inside the 25-yard line. Elvis Patterson was covering as best he could on the play. Errant throw. The big difference between Mark Malone and his predecessor at Pittsburgh, Bradshaw, is one basic thing: accuracy. Malone doesn't have it for the most part.
Lowest rated quarterback in the NFL. Steelers have completed the fewest passes in the NFL, 162 coming into this day.
You watch Malone warm up, he looks as good as anybody that ever played. He's got an arm like a cannon, 6'4", 220 pounds. But he just does not have that laser pinpoint striking throw that his predecessor Bradshaw had. And now Pollard trying to go wide to the left is cut down in the backfield. Well done by Chip Banks, a 3-time All-Pro player with the Cleveland Browns, who came here in that big offseason trade.
This defensive front really causing trouble for Pittsburgh. Banks jumps over a blocker and is there to just tick the ankle of Frank Pollard. You can see the pursuits there. Billy Ray Smith is there, 54. Gilbert, 22, is there. In case Chip Banks misses it. They're creating problems for Pittsburgh with that defense, Don.
Third down coming up now. Third down and 14 for the Steelers from their 49-yard line. Here's a blitz. Malone's in trouble. They get him all the way back at the 37-yard line. Second sack of this day for the San Diego defense. Big cat Lee Williams came on the rush, but everybody else was coming with him. Too much for the Steeler blockers to handle.
5 weeks ago, this is the kind of defense San Diego was playing. Very aggressive, running with stunts, blitzes all over the place. See Chip Banks, 56, coming on the blitz. Lee Williams gets the sack, second of the day, the first in the course for the safety.
So Newsom, who's got to be a gun-shy punter. Remember the last one he tried was blocked, and he almost got that one as he hits it downfield. Lionel James takes it. No, he's going to let it hop out of bounds just inside the 20-yard line. It'll be spotted at the 19-yard line. That's where the Chargers will go on offense after that 45-yard punt. First down and 10. Criqui with Bob Trumpy back at San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. First quarter at best, a wild one. Perhaps not something for the time capsule, as you said, Trump, but it's been interesting.
The 5 turnovers, of course, that block punt does not go as an official turnover, but you're right, very interesting. And you got to give credit to San Diego. They've created a defense here in 1 week that I don't think Pittsburgh has ever seen out of San Diego. And Pittsburgh having their problems identifying exactly who does what to whom, and therefore the sacks are coming, and you're also finding Mark Malone very hurried in throwing the football. And the most important thing, Pittsburgh is not running the football. That's how they win.
They haven't had it much, the Steelers. Now they have the ball. The Chargers again leading 9-0 as Fouts takes a drop, throws over the middle. He makes a connection. Is it caught? It is. Out to the 32-yard line. It's good for an 8-yard game. As coming up with the ball was tight end Kellen Winslow.
Today's game is brought to you by Mazda, bringing performance and value together. That's the Mazda way. By Coors, the beer with a difference worth tasting. Coors is the one. And by Magnavox, smart products for smart people. Magnavox, smart, very smart.
13 minutes to go in the first half. Chargers with a 9-0 lead. Go to the pass as Fouts dumps it off quickly to Spencer coming out of the backfield. He is hit as he crosses the 30, but it's a first down. Chargers Fouts operating very quickly. He's been under the gun in the recent weeks during this 3-game losing streak and being assailed. As now we look at the finals, New England destroying the Jets today at Foxborough. Washington with a big early lead held on to beat Dallas. Cowboys will not go to the playoffs officially. The Giants won't either, the defending Super Bowl champions.
Chargers now 3 of 4 in third down conversions. Biggest factor in this first half.
They have a first down now. End off right up the middle, and Spencer, both hands on the ball, takes it straight at the Steelers out to about the 39-yard line. Gain of maybe 3 on the play. Game clock down to 12 to play in the first half. Tim Spencer, a 230-pound runner, comes in with a per carry average of only 2.9, but he's been getting the ball a lot today. Did have the problem earlier, though, when he tried to stretch it out into the end zone and instead lost control. And instead of a touchdown, the Chargers came up short on a 4th and goal from the 1. Right after that, they got the safety on the sack of Malone in the end zone. Now Fouts takes a blitz. Carr comes again. Outside linebacker Greg Carr, this time stunting up the middle, gets his second set, not his first sack of the day, but his 3rd pressure.
And the Steelers, their first sack of the day. He's unpicked up. He moved up very, very late after the center could make the line calls. Pittsburgh's got to do something like that to disrupt this offense, because to this point it's pretty much been in tune. Watch Carr. Gary Dunn 67 consumes the nose man. Masick just lets him go, and it's not a mistake on Masick's part. You just got to give that one to the Steeler defense.
Now Fouts goes to the shotgun. He's never liked the shotgun. Thought it broke up his rhythm. That's why they haven't gone to it. They blitz him on the shotgun. He fires up the middle. It's incomplete to Chandler at the 50-yard line. Wes Chandler coming off the right flank, and Fouts took a pop again. I think
looked like Thomas Everett just tipped that football. Dwayne Woodruff, 49, was the man in coverage. See if we can pick it up. There's Carr again coming free, but he's picked up this time. Now watch right at the end of this reception. Does Everett get his hand on it? Nope. He does not touch it. Actually, that ball looked like it should have been caught.
Mosienko now in to punt the ball. He hits it downfield. A high punt that Woodson goes over, takes a look at, and lets hit out of bounds. So the Steelers, who've yet to put up any points today, will take over the ball. And 1st and 10 when we come back at their 33-yard line after that 33-yard punt. 11:07 to go in the first half. The Chargers with a 9-0 lead. There's Mark Malone, the Pittsburgh quarterback. Ironically, the way this season breaks down, the Pittsburgh Steelers, even if they lose today, but win their last 2 games at Houston and at home against Cleveland, will still go to the playoffs as division champion. That seems like it would be a long shot, even with the Browns winning today. That's how it stands. If the Steelers lose today and win their next 2, they'll go as division champion. That is a tall order, beating Houston and Cleveland, and let alone San Diego down 9-0. Go upfield, and it's incomplete at the 40-yard line. Weegee Thompson was the intended receiver, and Elvis Patterson very close to an interception.
On last week, the Pittsburgh Steelers in beating Seattle ran the ball 70% of the time. Today, the Steelers now have 7 rushes, 11 passes. You've got the Steelers. The Chargers have the Steelers out of character with this strange defense they're running. Pittsburgh is still trying to identify. Here it is right here. They've got 8 guys committed to the line of scrimmage, daring Mark Malone to throw.
Malone does throw. He swings it out. Abercrombie has the ball in the blocker, and he's ahead out to the 42-yard line. A second down and 10 play is good for a gain of about 8 yards, almost 9. Gary Plummer and Elvis Patterson made the stop.
There you see that defense. They're trying to trick Pittsburgh. You see loops and stunts up there. They're trying to confuse them, and it's really a run defense to make Pittsburgh throw the football. Obviously, Ron Lynn, the defensive coordinator of San Diego, believes that if you can get Malone to throw it enough, he's going to throw it back to you.
Well, he's had that problem this year. Malone has thrown for 14 interceptions and only 6 touchdowns, completing just 45% of his throws coming in on 3rd and 2. He pitches back. Running with the ball is Abercrombie. He won't get there. The Chargers come hard. Lee Williams puts the heat on, makes the knockdown. And this San Diego team, very emotional, finally playing a strong game after 3 lopsided defeats.
Steelers now 1 of 5. Now watch what happens. You see the defensive end. He recognizes immediately. Lee Williams does. Terry Long is out there, and that's the Pittsburgh sweep. But there's just too many people out there for him to block, and therefore a loss of yardage. And Newsom's got a punt.
But again, he'll be hitting it from about his 30-yard line. Lyle James is back deep for the Chargers, standing at his 18. They set up the return line, drive, punt downfield. It'll come back at Pittsburgh as Little Train James weaves his way into the Pittsburgh defenders and is finally cut down at the 30. 38-yard punt and 8-yard return. Chargers up 9-0. 9:25 to go in the first half. The last time the Chargers and the Steelers played here at Jack Murphy Stadium in 1985, it was a track meet. 98 points were scored. Chargers won that day 55-44. Mark Malone had one of his finest days at quarterback, though, for the Steelers, playing with many of the people that he'd known in high school, at least in front of them. This is his hometown area. But today, with the swirling winds and a defense that he's unfamiliar with, Malone's had some difficulty getting acclimated to the throwing game here with the wind and the defense is changing. He's had problems. Fouts has got a lot of yards in the first half, and his team leads 9-0. Fouts falls out at the 29-yard line. How many fumbles is that?
Well, we've got 3 by San Diego. That's their 4th, and they recover it. It looked like Dan Fouts just pulled out a little too quickly. Masick, the center's got done 67 right on his nose. Sometimes that center doesn't get that ball all the way up to the quarterback. Sometimes he short arms it a little bit, but they got it back, so just a loss of a yard.
So it's second down and about 11 for San Diego. Pitch back goes to Spencer. Tim Spencer running hard. Steelers put helmets on him at the 32-yard line. Knock him down after a gain of perhaps 3. First tackler was Thomas Everett, the free safety. Rookie out of Baylor, drafted in the 4th round. Giving away over 60 pounds to Spencer, but he won the head-on hit.
Tremendous difference in attitude of this San Diego team today. They have some confidence. Putting 9 points on the board against a very good defense, I believe, in Pittsburgh Steelers has really lifted this team. Here we go, Fouts in the shotgun again. We've seen it 3 times already in this half.
They're down and about 6 for Fouts and the Chargers. Steelers come with a blitz. Fouts looks in. They can't get to him. He lets it go long, but it's too long for Lionel James on an out pattern at the 48-yard line of Pittsburgh. So now the Steelers will get the ball back as San Diego sends out its punter, Ralph Moshienko. Let's check that scoreboard. The Cardinals, an underdog, beating the Giants 21-10. Raiders with Bo going back to KC. No score in the second quarter. We're told Bo Jackson was shaken up in that game, but he's come back in. He was roundly booed also today, Bo, when he came back to KC. Here's a big hit with the wind at his back. Moshienko drives it down to Rod Woodson. He turns upfield and Woodson gets out to about the 28-yard line. First half moving quickly. 8:06 to play. That was a 50-yard punt and a 13-yard return by the rookie #1 draft choice from Purdue. Malone trots out. Start to finish in this 15-game season, they all count the same, but they seem to count a lot more down the stretch. You see what the Steelers have at Houston, then home to play Cleveland on December 26th. Browns have a tough go at Raiders, at Pittsburgh. Houston at home for its final two against divisional rivals, the Steelers and the Bengals. Malone pump faking, takes a look and throws it way too. Look at that catch by Clinkscales, but it's out of bounds. Joey Clinkscales, a strong wide receiver from Tennessee, 6 feet, 205 pounds. Goes up, and this is worth looking at again just to see him come down with the ball. It wasn't easy.
Malone now 3 of 11 for 27 yards. They try to get Clinkscales by that cornerback Elvis Patterson. Elvis Patterson does not bite on the pump fake as they're in good coverage. 2nd and 10.
Well, the Steelers waste first down. They go to 2nd and 10 now, not making the first down pass connection. Hand off to Abercrombie. From the ball. Luigi Thompson recovers it quickly at the 29-yard line. And some hitting today is forcing all these turnovers.
That ball has been hard to hang on to. Now this is a bread and butter play for Pittsburgh. It's the lead by Pollard. 54, Billy Ray Smith knocks it loose. But luckily a Pittsburgh Steeler there to make the recovery. Last week this run worked very well for Pittsburgh. Today, Charger defense has killed this play.
3rd down. Here's the defense again changing as they bring 7 people up. Cornerbacks right at the line of scrimmage trying to stop the receivers coming off the snap of the ball. Here's a throw. It's not even close. Malone hit hard by Billy Ray Smith as he released the ball nowhere near the intended receiver. So the Charger defense, which has been completely revamped in a week's time, is stopping Mark Malone and the Steelers dead.
Now we've got Malone being hurried 3 times. Twice the ball has been knocked down and 2 sacks. This time it's Billy Ray Smith. A lot of games up front, taking Pittsburgh out of the running game and really creating problems.
Here's where they've had problems also. Punting the ball. Another big rush. They put it off, and another poor punt by Newsom. On the one hop, Little Train James. Now he loses the ball. The Steelers might have it. Looks like a Steeler bounced right into his hands, but we'll see.
What is that thing, radioactive? Nobody wants to touch it or hold on to it too long? What's going on here?
It does draw a crowd, though, and it's on the floor.
It's Pittsburgh ball. The umpire rules Pittsburgh ball. I can't believe that the wind chill
47 degrees here.
That can't be a problem. It can't be too cold to hang on to the football. The wind is probably the biggest factor. Now watch this ball. It kind of hangs up, and James never really gets a hold of it because he takes his eyes off of it. It's the wind, and when he looks up, that ball gets away from him.
Dwight Stone's the man who came up with the ball.
This is the craziest first half I've ever seen in my life. Plus a block punt. 6 turnovers, plus a block punt, and a safety.
Neither offense has scored a point, yet the Chargers lead the game 9-0. Little Train was banged hard as he was hit after fumbling.
He got his bell rung.
So now the Steelers, hard-pressed to get something going, get a golden opportunity here with the ball at the 39-yard line. But you'll remember they had a more golden opportunity when they recovered a Charger fumble on San Diego's first possession down at the 26-yard line. And then quickly on the first play fumbled it right back. Malone looks, he throws in pattern and makes the connection to John Stallworth. That time Malone takes his time, zeroes in on the future Hall of Famer, and guns that fastball right between the 8 and the 4 for a first down.
Last week, John Stallworth was shut out. That's his first catch of the day. There you can see the drive chart for Pittsburgh. Not a pretty thing. Not a pretty thing at all.
First down there, though, and the Steelers get closer, trailing 9-0 second quarter. Here's the run. Abercrombie breaks through the Charger defense and gets down to the 15-yard line. Very important. If Malone hits his throws, or some of them, he'll put the Chargers back in their basic defense, and then the Steeler trap running game will get going as it did there. Completion by Malone, then the good run.
Yeah, you saw Frank Pollard, number 30, come out in motion. That drew a man out of the defense and made it a little easier for the offensive lineman to have the right numbers to block the right people.
Stalwart to the top of your screen. Ouija Thompson is wide right. First down and 10. That play's going to go. Apparently it's going to be a
flag down.
Well, there is a flag. Mike Charles must have left early. He was into Malone's lap almost before he had the snap.
Offside. Defense.
At 300+ pounds, he doesn't hide well. Like a runaway truck downhill, you know, you can't break it too quickly.
He was a number 2 draft choice several years ago at the Dolphins. They cut him, waved him outright, went to Tampa Bay. They waved him outright. Chargers have brought in a lot of waiver people, a lot of free agents to look at, and a number of them are starting. Charles is one of them. Elvis Patterson at left corner, who started for the Giants in the Super Bowl, is another. So is the strong safety Martin Bayless, who was with Buffalo before being cut. First and 5, Pittsburgh. Malone takes a look. Plenty of time, swings it out to Abercrombie. Abercrombie is down close to the 6-yard line. Not quite to a first down, but very near.
That was well defense by David Brandon. If Abercrombie were able to cut back up underneath that block by Tunch-Ilkin, 62, I think he goes in the end zone. Watch this screen pass that they put up. Now this is one play that'll work against this strange defense that San Diego is running. Ilkin hits the block. Now if Abercrombie could cut up underneath there, he might be in the end zone, but Brandon gets him out of bounds, makes it second down and about 3.
5:28 to go, first half. 9-0. Chargers lead, but the Steelers are on the board. As Pollard, behind that vintage trap blocking offense, angles in right to left, 8 yards, first down and more as he crossed into the end zone for 6. Looking to get the first down. They needed a yard and they get the distance. All the way in goes Pollard for the touchdown.
Perfectly executed trap. Set up by Lionel James's fumble on that punt. He's not sure where he is yet.
Lionel was really dinged when he fumbled the ball and was hit by a Steeler coming down to hit him. Now the extra point is up and good, and the Steelers are right back in it, down 9-7. The Steelers, and they now trail 9-7. Kickoff downfield, and here comes Gary Anderson, one of the best athletes in football, as he breaks it for the moment. Now into open field goes Anderson all the way out to the 40-yard line. But the yellow flag is down, Mr. Trumpy. An illegal block by the Chargers will bring that back a long way.
I think that's a good guess. Rod Woodson finally makes the tackle. Holding, well, that's unusual. But that is an illegal block. Lionel James still on the bench for the Chargers.
Holding during the run back. Number 29, 10 yards, first down.
Al Saunders, the youngest coach in the National Football League. He is 40 years old and his first full season as head coach. Took over last year when Coryell was dismissed during the season.
I want to go back to that touchdown by Frank Pollard. Absolutely a spectacular trap play run by the Steeler offensive line for 6 points.
Now Fouts goes to that multifaceted offense. He's going to throw it on first down. Dumps it off. He's got a man on the far side. The tackle is made as Spencer's hit down. No gain on the play. David Little defending on the quick throw to the fullback.
Watch this play. You see 2 big blocks. Ray Penny, the left tackle, on number 50, the middle linebacker, and Tunch-Ilkin, 62, seals the hole. Frank Pollard, number 30, just gets right up in there. Chip Banks, 56, on the ground, trying to make contact, but the big block was on Gary Plummer by Ray Penny to get Pollard in the end zone.
Chargers with receivers to either side going to the pitch back. Penalty markers down as Anderson breaks it and out across the 25-yard line. He's out to the 27. But probably he'll come back as the marker was thrown in the Charger backfield. Oh, it's the Steelers who left early, and so the play goes. A second down and 9 play. There was a gain of 7. There is Joe Green.
Sometimes
Hall
that
of Fame Joe Green.
Sometimes that offset nose tackle, Gary Dunn, can get over the football, and Joe Green made that famous. And Bud Carson designed that offset nose tackle. Pittsburgh, with the acquisition of Joe Green, became a championship team.
Offside. Number 57 was lined up offside. 5 yards. Still second down.
The AFC East winners today. The Jets an AFC East loser. Shula and Buddy Ryan don't like each other. That's no secret. Shula, who laid it to the Eagles with his Dolphins in the preseason, does it again today in the regular season. Cleveland, which has had no offense in losing 2 straight, gets back on track today with 38 points against Cincinnati. Second down, 4. Free ball. Picked up by Fouts, but he's knocked down back at his 19-yard line, and they just can't hold on.
That's twice that's happened to Fouts now. You know it's going bad when you can't even get the ball from the center to the quarterback. When he pulls out of there, that ball never gets to his hands. So now it's 3rd down and 10.
Brian Hinkle was on him quickly for Pittsburgh.
Chargers are 3 of 6 in 3rd down conversions. That's a lot better than they have been in the previous 4 weeks.
.347 to go in the first half. Shotgun throw. Fouts takes a look. Guns it out. Man is open, and he catches the ball on his back. What a play. Down and up with the ball is Tinny Ware, a wide receiver. A 15-yard gain on the play. He was flat on his back when he caught the ball. The second-year receiver from Southern California.
There was a lot of contact out here, Don. A big crowd of people. And Ware's feet just slip right out from underneath him. Woodson, 26, the closest man in coverage. Big 3rd down converted.
Play of the game. The Chargers get it. Keep the drive alive. Fouts dropping those shifting feet, waiting. He throws, and Woodruff comes up on the ball but can't intercept. Wes Chandler was turning out to the 45-yard line.
Dan Fouts now 13 of 18 for 148 yards in the first half, and he's getting protection. The problem he's having is getting the ball from center.
There's been a lot of errant snaps, really. I don't know if the snap or what, but he and Masick have been doing it together for a long time. Don Masick, one of the better setters in the NFL, does not get a lot of press. There have been some misconnections. Lots of fumbles in this game. It's a 9-7 game. Chargers lead on a block punt that they turned into a touchdown and a safety. Blitz on Fouts. He gets it away. It's broken up. Reaching back at the ball was the rookie tight end Bernstein. Tipping the ball away was the rookie defensive back Rod Woodson. 3rd down conversions were a topic of conversation, Bob, before the game, and you see the Steelers are having a hard time today getting the first down.
That's one of the reasons why the Chargers are so successful in this first half. We did mention, too, that we felt that Pittsburgh had to score first so they could run the game. They've not been able to do that today.
Now Fouts sets up in the shotgun again. Wingbacks and his tight ends to either side. 2 wideouts to the top of your screen. Here comes the blitz. Carr's coming. He hits Fouts, who gets the ball away. Now there's a free ball on the field, and running with the ball is Woodson. Or that's Everett. He's going to go in, but there's markers down all over. Fouts was hit with a bruising tackle. 41-yard return, but we'll have to see a marker was thrown on the play.
I think this is going to be pass interference on the defense. I think it's coming back.
The Chargers think that, and that is the call.
Strangely, I do not think it was the man in coverage on Tim Ware, the intended receiver.
Thomas Everett has a great moment taken away from him on the foul call against his team. We'll see who the call is against. Fouts really gets leveled after he releases it. Carr comes again up the middle.
There are 8 guys coming at Dan Fouts. You can see the pressure. Johnson and Carr.
Number 35 defense.
There was Delton Hall.
Throwing the interception. It's a 5-yard penalty and first down.
That was Delton Hall before the ball was even thrown. Nice, but it doesn't count.
So Thomas Everett has a big moment negated as another rookie, Delton Hall. He talks a lot and he backs it up. Big talk, big hit at right corner. Number 1 draft choice out of Clemson. Dropping the throw is Fouts. swings it off. Another screen. It goes to the fullback, and Spencer on a first down play gets to the 41-yard line. A gain of only a yard or two. Making the knockdown was the nose tackle Gary Dunn, who ran him down across the field.
That's the one option that San Diego seems to have put into their offense, that screen. Fouts is looking downfield first, but when in doubt, he goes to the screen out in the flat, and there always seems to be one or maybe sometimes even two offensive linemen in front of the running back.
Second down and 8. Arises almost 9 as you see the game clock down to 2:12. Here's Gary Anderson putting a move on, turning the corner, and he gets out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. Run out by Everett. Free safety. Gary Anderson out of Arkansas. Played 2 years in the U.S. Football League and scored 44 touchdowns. One of the most spectacular all-around athletes in the NFL. He's a running back, a wide receiver, a kick returner. And he told me at the NBC Sports World Superstars competition he was in that his best position is free safety, but you don't make the money back there.
Also tough to score points back there, and that's what Gary Anderson does for San Diego.
He hasn't had the ball a lot this year, though. They're trying to get it to him more. Here's Fouts on 3rd and 4. Stands in, lets it go long. There's another marker down, thrown in by the back judge. Fired in from 40 yards off the play. Wes Chandler was the intended receiver, but as you see, it's incomplete. Then the marker.
It's against Pittsburgh. Illegal use of the hands. That's twice now. And you see Woodson complaining, and generally the one who complains the loudest and the longest is the one that whose number they mention. Let's see if it's 26.
Illegal use of the hands. Defense, number 35, 5 yards, first down, 2-minute warning.
They flagged Del Hall now twice in the last 5 plays. Once negating Everett's interception return for a touchdown. We'll be back to Jack Murphy Stadium in a moment. The action's live right now as the Chargers have the ball. Dropping to throw is Dan Fouts. Up the middle, wide open is tight end Holohan. He's got a first down to the 37-yard line of the Steelers. Fouts looking at people all over the field. Hits Holohan for a 13-yard gain.
Keith Gary almost made the sack.
It really is. The chase is on every time Fouts goes back to throw. The Steelers are sending defenders at him on blitzes. He's managing for the most part to get the ball away. He's had a good first half, and his team leads it 9-7. Offside by Keith Gary. Free play for Dan Fouts, and he makes the connection down to the 30-yard line to Tim Spencer.
There was no flag thrown. I agree with you that Keith Gary was offsides, but there's no flag.
That's true. He was offside, but he jumped into the neutral zone, but they'd never taken the penalty anyways. They got 8 on the pass completion. 1:15 to go. Chargers call a timeout. They're first. They have 2 more. Steelers still with their full complement of 3 timeouts. Chargers maligned here in San Diego. It's been a most unusual year. They lost their opener to Kansas City, came back and won 8 straight games, including the 3 by their strike team, and then they've been blown out the last 3 weeks, losing to Seattle, Denver, and last week at Houston.
Watch this offsides by Keith Gary. Near side. I think he was offside, but there was no flag thrown.
Producer today for NBC Sports is Glenn Adamo. Our director, Andy Rosenberg. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of NFL football, Ted Nathanson.
Point here for Pittsburgh. There's Chuck Noll. Tony Dungy, the defensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. This is a great time for a blitz. Second down, short yardage. Try to get a sack. I would think that you'd see a lot of mayhem here. Greg Carr back in the ball game, and he's had some luck coming right up the gut.
This is the 3rd San Diego drive today where they've had 10 or more plays. NBC statistician Dennis Mnuchin totaling those numbers as Anderson turns the corner and gets down close to the 25-yard line.
Looks like he's got it.
Here's to have it on a second and short play, 2nd and 2. A very quick Gary Anderson turns upfield, knocked out of bounds by Donnie Shell, but it is 1st and 10 for the Chargers.
We've not seen Lionel James, so now it's up to Gary Anderson to get it done, and this is just a foot race. Anderson knows exactly where he has to go. Donnie Shell is the one that knocks him out of bounds, and it looked like that right foot just beat the first down marker.
losing streak, the Chargers have averaged less than 50 yards a game rushing, but they're moving the ball with the pass and the run today. It's Fouts fires. He makes the connection. Timmy Ware had it and lost it out of bounds. The official comes up and says it's good. Let's see what the ruling is. Apparently it's going to go. Now they're calling it incomplete.
Good job by the official. One conferred with the other. The one who made the original call was watching his feet. And the other one standing about 5 yards away was watching whether the ball was caught or not. And he never had control of that football. That's a good call. Got to have that second foot down.
You got to hold on.
1, 2. I don't think he ever had hold of that ball. You can see it bouncing around in his hands.
In their 3-game losing streak, San Diego has allowed 33 points a game and almost 440 yards a game total offense. But today they've held the Steelers to 7 first-half points, and they've held the Steeler offensive yardage production way down. San Diego has dominated this game, although it's a close one, 9-7. San Diego in the lead.
The officials are still reviewing the play from upstairs. You got to have that second foot down, and you got to have control of the football.
Further review. Pass is ruled incomplete. Second out.
Fans don't like it, do they? Didn't expect them to, did you? Again, second foot down, control of the football. That ball is bouncing right up there on his chest. He never has control of it.
Second down and 10 for Fouts in the offense. Close, but too long. Delton Hall was covering on the play. Again, he was looking at Holohan, a 7th-year tight end from Notre Dame who's made a series of big plays in this first half. So now third down arises for Fouts. Again, it's 3rd and 10.
Fouts again under pressure. Tim Johnson, 78, 53, Brian Hinkle. And he'll throw that ball up. And right at the end of the play, you'll see Hinkle 53, Tim Johnson right there. Fouts can't really follow through. Third down so far in this first half. Actually, San Diego's been pretty darn good at it.
They set in the shotgun. 9-7. Chargers lead the game. Second quarter, very late in it. Here's the blitz. Picked up nicely. A throw and an incomplete ball. Going to Chandler over the middle. And so the field goal unit will come out. And every kick today in this win is an adventure.
Chargers now 4 of 8 on third down conversions. And here's that all-out blitz. Carr, who has been getting some good penetration up front, this time picked up by Spencer. But the ball just overthrown. Chandler couldn't get it.
Vince Abbott, the field goal kicker, has hit 13 of 17 this year for San Diego. This is a 43-yarder. Plenty of distance. But it goes wide. And so, with 51 seconds to play in the first half, the Steelers take over the ball. Vince Abbott, first-year kicker from Cal State. 9-7, you see the numbers. First touchdown came when Vincey Glenn busted up the middle and blocked a Newsom punt attempt in his own end zone. It was recovered for a San Diego touchdown. And then a sack of Mark Malone in the end zone accounted for the other 2 San Diego points.
Hard to believe we've had 6 turnovers in this first half, and the score is 9-7.
This is the 3rd week in a row that San Diego has failed to score in the last minute of the first half when they've had a chance to do it. Opportunities missed have plagued the Chargers. I guess everything does when you lose 3 games by lopsided scores. Steelers go to the run. Apparently they're going to be content to head to the locker room with a 2-point deficit to make up. Frank Pollard runs the ball. Let's take a look at the breakdown of the San Diego Charger possessions today. Fumble, fumble, fumble.
And it's only produced 7 points for their opponents. That's rather strange.
Yardage-wise, though, the Chargers' production's way up us their meager showings of the recent weeks. They're still an 8-4 team, though, with a golden opportunity to go to the playoffs if they can get it together down the stretch run. Back to Pollard on a 2nd and 6 play. That'll do it for the first half. At halftime, Frank DeFord among the features at halftime will be talking with the Chicago Bears standout receiver Willie Gall. Right now, Mark Malone and the Steelers head to the locker room. A most unusual first half. The Fouts and the Chargers hold to a 2-point advantage. This is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. We'll be going to NFL Live in a moment. moment, as Chuck Noll's going to have a lot to say. One of the things they're going to be doing is attacking that ball because the Chargers team want to give it up. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Welcome to those of you watching the game from relatively chilly San Diego, certainly chilly by San Diego standards, and a 9-7 lead for the Chargers over the Steelers, despite the fact that San Diego lost 5 fumbles during the first half. 9-7, San Diego with the lead. The Cardinals, in what might be the final NFL game in St. Louis, lead the Giants at halftime 27-10. Stump Mitchell has a touchdown run. Lomax to Robert Awalt, 20 yards for another touchdown. Vi Sikahema has a 76-yard punt return for a St. Louis score. The Raiders and the Chiefs lead 7-0. The Raiders are about a foot from the Kansas City goal line with about a minute and a half to play in the first half. A moment ago, it appeared that Marcus Allen had scored, but upon a replay review, they said he did not break the plane of the goal line. I'm taking a glance over at the game, and they are yet to get into the end zone, down around the 1-yard line. The Raiders and the Chiefs, 7-0 Kansas City. Bo Jackson returns to KC, roundly booed during the introductions. Shortly after the opening snap, he sprains his ankle. He has returned to the game, but only carried once since then, and he has been ineffective. Ahmad?
Boy, this game, I'm telling you, and Paul, I'm sure agrees with me. I've never seen so much fighting, dancing, and all-around tomfoolery. It's two teams that are 5-7 and 2-10. But the thing is about the Raiders is without Bo Jackson, they're devastated. Mark Wilson, without Bo Jackson, looks like Mark Wilson used to look last year. He's throwing interceptions.
Paul?
Marcus Allen's not running the way he did the last couple of weeks. And the officials, Marcus Allen was over. I mean, he fell over the goal line. And they had a holding penalty on the Raiders. They're doing everything they can possibly do to take this game away from them. Now they just called a motion penalty down by the goal line. It takes them out of touchdown range.
Now, I'm just trying to cut down the volume of your mail. They're not trying to take it away from them on purpose, are they?
No, I'm just saying, you know, these are two teams that aren't going anywhere. Just let them go ahead and play and get this thing over
Well, they should play and cut the tomfoolery, like I said.
All right, cut this tomfoolery and proceed with the scores. The Rams trying to win their 5th in a row. Leading at home against Atlanta, 26-0. Everett to Henry Ellard, 50-yard touchdown. Leroy Irvin, 47-yard interception return for a TD. Charles White, a 21-yard scoring run. Detroit at Tampa Bay. Vinny Testaverde starts at quarterback for the Buccaneers. Hasn't done anything yet. Detroit leads on a long to Mandley touchdown pass, 7-3. Games from earlier today. Buffalo wins at Indianapolis, 27-3. Jim Kelly throws for a couple of touchdowns. This was the first one. Ronnie Harmon on the receiving end. They led 7-0 after this. They held Eric Dickerson to just 19 yards on 11 carries. The Buffalo defense had 4 interceptions, 4 quarterback sacks, and they have forged a tie atop the AFC East. The Jets lose to New England. The score there is 42-20. Steve Grogan has one of the greatest games of his career. He runs for a touchdown, and he throws for 4 others. This is one of those TD throws. Stephen Starring makes the second quarter touchdown catch, a 28-yarder as he tumbles into the end zone. They led 35-6 at the half, and they make it into a laugher, 42-20. Miami gets 3 TD passes from Dan Marino. He throws for over 300 yards. They win at Philadelphia 28-10. Mark Clayton caught 2, Mark Duper 1. Here's one of Clayton's touchdowns. Nice catch over Evan Cooper. They led 28-10 at that point, and that was the final score. And so the standings in the AFC East, Miami has none of the tiebreakers going their way. They need to win this thing outright, and they're in a 3-way tie at present. New England, with their win, ups their mark to 6-7 and drops the Jets to 6-7. They share last place in the division. The Redskins held off a late Cowboy rally. Danny White had a big day, threw for 359 yards, but it wasn't enough. The Cowboys are eliminated from the playoffs. The Skins win 24-20. Jay Schrader throwing a 56-yard touchdown pass here to Gary Clark. Clark caught 9 passes today for 187 yards, including this touchdown. George Rogers had a pair of 1-yard touchdown runs. The Redskins take their record to 10-3. They're already the champions champions of the NFC East. The Saints are 10-3. They've won 7 games in a row. 24-10 the final today as they defeat the Oilers. Cincinnati played at Cleveland, and the Browns won this one 38-24. 4 touchdown passes for Bernie Kosar and 133 yards rushing for Kevin Mack. But the defense is the subject of this highlight. Clay Matthews steps in front of the intended receiver, intercepts Boomer Esiason's pass. Long run back. When he runs out of room, he laterals to Carl Big Daddy Hairston, and he lumbers down to the 20. The Browns had some fun today. They take their record to 8-5, and so this is of special interest to those of you in Pittsburgh watching the Steelers-San Diego game. Let's check the standings in the AFC Central for the moment. The Browns are alone by half a game. Houston has dropped back with their loss today against New Orleans to 7-6. And, of course, on the final Saturday of the season, it's Pittsburgh going against the Browns in a game that could decide the championship in the AFC Central. The Raiders settled for a field goal, Paul McGuire just tells me. They never got that touchdown at Arrowhead, but they get a field goal, and they trail now 7-3 against the Chiefs late in the first half. Minnesota could have wrapped up a wild card spot, but they lost today to the Packers. The score was 16-10. Kenneth Davis with a 7-yard touchdown run with about a minute and a half to play won the game for Green Bay, 16-10.
The San Diego Chargers, with no points in their offense, are leading the Pittsburgh Steelers 9-7 at halftime. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. We're trying to get an official count of the number of fumbles, and nobody's really sure, but we think there's 8 first-half fumbles, 6 by the Chargers. No points in their offense, and they lead the game 9-7.
Yeah, they also about gained Pittsburgh 200 yards to 70. They've lost 4 fumbles, so San Diego very, very lucky to be leading in this football game, but this is one of the strangest first halves I think I've ever come across in my life. One of the things we featured in the pregame show was keys to victory, and in the spotlight for Steelers, we thought score first so that they could run. Well, they did not score first, and the net result of that is the Pittsburgh Steelers have run the ball 14 times for a grand total of 42 yards. Last week, of course, they had Frank Pollard over 100 yards and not even coming close.
200 yards rushing against Seattle last week. And, of course, we talked about the importance of the Chargers converting third downs and protecting Fouts, and they've done well on both those counts. They had as many third down conversions in the first half of this game as they had in the previous 2 games entirely.
Yeah, they were 4 of 8 in third down conversions, and at the end of the half, Pittsburgh was beginning to get a little bit to Dan Fouts. So the Chargers have got to fix that. But I think basically both coaches going at halftime, and Chuck Noll says we got to do 2 things. One, run the ball no matter what defense they put up in front of us. And for San Diego, Al Saunders has got to tell his guys, look, we're getting done what we want. The defense is keeping us in this ball game with 6 fumbles and 4 lost. The offense has got to be a little more patient. They've had some receivers open in the flat. Keep going to the screen pass, and that'll slow down the all-out pass rush by Pittsburgh.
I think we're going to see the Steelers attacking also, Trump. Their defense has been getting to Fouts, at least pressuring him more as the game wears on. A very aggressive team, and of course the weather continues to be a very major factor. Mother Nature playing through this warm part of the country today. Winds gusting up to 35 miles an hour makes the playing conditions very difficult, and yet we have only 16 first-half points up despite all those turnovers. This kickoff is sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers.
And one thing that thinking back on the first half, I didn't see a lot of players out there with gloves on. And now I see Woodson has gloves on. It also looked like Stone has gloves on. I think at half, both teams went in, put their gloves on. Hopefully they can hang onto the ball just a little bit better. There have been some drop passes, some missed exchanges between Masick and Dan Fouts. Been rather strange.
Rod Woodson is back deep as Moshenko will kick off. Born in West Germany, he played collegiately at Michigan State, one of the strongest legs in football. And Moshenko booms it all the way down into the end zone, where it'll be down by the Steelers for a touchback, and they better do it quickly as some Chargers were honing in on that free ball. The halftime numbers, that's how they stand. The Steelers with only 70 yards total offense.
Chargers with those 5 turnovers, time of possession in the previous 3 weeks. The Chargers had had the ball only 20 minutes per game. They've already had it almost 19 minutes this half. Down and 10 for the Pittsburgh Steelers with Mark Malone at quarterback. They
Basic pro set. Looks like they're going to run it. Now they send in motion Ernest Jackson, and Pollard will run the ball, but not very far. That's Chuck Ian, the nose tackle. Number 78, nephew of Frank Kush, the former Colts coach and Arizona State coach, shot through to make the stop.
Again, a look at that defense, that change in defense that San Diego's come up with. And they tried to run Ernest Jackson in motion, and this time it did not draw anybody. Wolfley, Idolette on the pull. There are just too many defensive people there for the offensive lineman to block. A loss of a yard.
Now it is second down and almost 12 for the Steelers. Malone gets time. Now dumps it off to Frank Pollard. Running in the open field. He thunders ahead and is knocked down to the 26-yard line. Gain of about 6 or 7 on the play. Gary Plummer, number 50, an inside linebacker, made the stop.
Again, you can watch up front the problems that Pittsburgh is having with the protection. Webster and his friends, they see San Diego comes with the game. This time, Malone finds the outlet, and that's what you have to do to slow down that defense. To respect the things out there in the flat, and to change that defense slightly gives you a better chance to run the ball.
Idolette and Ilkin are the tackles. Wolfley and Long the guards. Webster down to the ball at center. Third down. 4 to go for the first down for the Steelers. Here's a full blitz. A throw and an incomplete ball up the middle of the field going for John Stallworth. Incomplete. The ball skipped in at the 35 as the Chargers sent 7 people at the quarterback and forced him into an errant throw.
Steelers now 1 of 6 in third down conversions, and watch the games. 2, 4, 6 people coming. Billy Ray Smith right up the middle, and Malone really couldn't get the ball to John Stallworth at all.
Safety came also. They had 7 on him, and he could not make the connection with an open man. Now Newsom will try to hit the ball. He's had problems. This one is well hit downfield. Backpedaling is Train James to his 25. He was knocked out in his last attempt at returning a punt, which was a fumble. Steelers really sticking in there. 49-yard punt and a 9-yard return. Down to make that thunderous hit was Tyrone Stowe of the Steelers.
See the Chargers. Tim Spencer comes back out in the second half with gloves on. Lionel James, 26 behind him, does not have them. But Jamie Holland, the other wide receiver, has got him on. I think there's just enough chill in the air, and the ball is just hard enough that they feel like they need those gloves.
I tell you, I've done a lot of games in Pittsburgh in December. It hasn't been this cold. Temperature is listed somewhere now probably in the low 40s. That's what it's stands, but the wind chill has brought it down into the 20s at least.
Yeah, on the other side of the field in the sun, I would imagine it's very comfortable.
At least more comfortable. Right now, the Chargers with their first possession of the second half, leading the game 9-7. Steelers bring their strong safety, Donnie Shell, right up tight. They run away from him. Now they go to reverse. Shell's trying to play it. Running out of the ball is Holland. He breaks it for the moment. Jamie Holland is across the 50 and down to the 49-yard line of the Steelers. So Shell held his position. He was looking for it to come his way, but blockers were there, resulting in a 17-yard gain on the wide receiver around on the reverse.
Lionel James is the pitch man. Holland with excellent speed. 2 men out there to support him, Dan Fouts being one of them, so let's make that a man and a half.
Super fast Buckeye from Ohio State. Holland breaks a big play, and the Chargers cross midfield on their first play of the third quarter. Now, Adams runs the ball. Curtis Adams takes it down to the 41-yard line on a 1st and 10. Good for a 9-yard gain.
Today's game is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By the power tool people at Black & Decker. And by AT&T, the right choice.
Second down and 2 for the Chargers. They lead 9-7 third quarter. Curtis Adams fights a tackler, and he might have the first down. He does. They'll spot him out of bounds at the 38-yard line of Pittsburgh. Coming up to make the hit for the Steelers was the rookie free safety, Thomas Everett.
Oh, that was a heck of a stiff arm. Watch what happens here. Adams just puts it out right on the shoulder pads. Gets Everett down Tell you what, though, you still got to like this rookie Everett. The Steelers, 3 of their first 4 draft choices were defensive backs. 2 of them start, Everett and Hall, and the third one, Woodson, is their nickel back. They got a lot out of this draft.
And Woodson will be starting very soon. He got into camp 95 days late. Here's a long throw to the end zone, and it's stripped away. A fine defensive play by Dwayne Woodruff as they go for the distance to the Chargers. One of the great ones, Wes Chandler, flying down the field, going for the ball. It's tipped away by Dwayne Woodruff, who has 3 interceptions this year.
Certain amount of impatience here shown by San Diego. They still want to get that ball down the field when they can. And now puts up a situation where it's 2nd down and 10. Fouts 16 of 26, 168 yards, and he's missed 4 in a row. And I think the way you beat Pittsburgh is play high percentage offense. Go for the intermediate patterns, not the distance.
Well, now he has a 2nd down and 10 play as he tried to burn the Steelers on 1st down for the touchdown. He gets time, does Fouts, dumps it off. Open field run, and Kellen Winslow is down to the 35-yard line. Believe it or not, the gain was good for only 2 yards.
Thomas Everett on the tackle, and again, that screen, either to a tight end or a running back. San Diego's gone to it all game long.
Everyone wonders what happened to the Super Bowl champion Giants this year. What happened to them was week 1 at Soldier Field in Chicago. The Bears put a knockout punch on them they've never come back from. All other excuses not valid. The Bears ended the Giants season the opening week in effect. They knew they weren't the best team in the league anymore. Big blitz, they pick it up well though, and Fouts has an open man. Chandler heading for the end zone. Delton Hall runs him down, but there is Mr. Trumpy, a marker down at the line of scrimmage.
Well, with the way Pittsburgh was cheating the line of scrimmage, though, that may be on the defense. No, it's against illegal motion against San Diego, nullifying a 23-yard gain. Perfectly read by San Diego. Pattern well run by Wes Chandler. It'll all come back.
Illegal motion, number 88. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Pete Holohan, the tight end. A lot of times when you have receivers going away from the formation in motion, they can't see the ball snapped. They go on sound. Sometimes it's not the sound of the snap before they turn up in an illegal motion.
Game clock shows 10:50 to play, 3rd quarter. Chargers holding to a 9-7 lead. They led the game 9-0 in the 1st quarter.
Chargers 4 of 8 in 3rd downs, and this time Fouts goes up behind center, not the shotgun.
3 wide receivers left, including a tight end who's flexed. Here's a give up the middle, and running well is Spencer as he dives down to the 31-yard line. Looking for the Steelers in an all-out pass rush on a 3rd and 13. The Chargers get good yardage, not the 1st down, but they do give place kicker Vince Abbott a better shot now at a field goal.
Vince Abbott does not get a very high trajectory on his kicks.
No, he doesn't.
Last time he hooked one and missed it. This will be a 48-yard attempt.
The wind seems to be swirling around and across the field from right to left. He missed wide left the last time, and he does again. Same thing. Wind caught it. On a normal day, that probably would have been right down the middle, but Abbott unable to play the wind that he sees so infrequently out here. And so the Steelers take over, still down by 2 points.
Tell you what, San Diego has had their chances and missed on most of them today. Steelers got to feel pretty good about their chances in this 2nd half.
Lots of action, but no change in the score, and it would seem, Bob Trumpy, that the San Diego Chargers are having a lot of missed opportunities that they could look back on in the defeat.
Yeah, they have certainly had their chances. Let's see, they've had 6 fumbles, lost 4. Dan Fouts has had a couple of exchange problems. That was a good drive. I mean, they've outgained the Pittsburgh Steelers almost 3-1, and yet they lead by just 2 points.
And the Chargers jam the front, daring the Steelers to run, so they're going to throw on 1st down. And again, Mark Malone comes in a bit low to John Stallworth at the 48-yard line. So the Steelers, unable to run their usual offense, which is run, 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 now find themselves in a hole again as they fail to hit the pass on 1st down.
That ball thrown low and behind John Stallworth. Malone now 6 of 17, just 50 yards. And the defense of the Chargers certainly done their job today, creating a lot of misconception, I think, on the part of the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. They're not sure what they're looking at there.
Chargers really challenging, coming up tight even with their corners. Here's a dump pass. Pollard catches it somehow, breaks ahead. He's across the 40-yard line, and he has a Steeler first down as he's out to the 45. The ball was almost quacking when it came down. 14-yard gain resulting on the play, though.
Now, that's the one thing that'll take the Chargers out of this defense. If Pittsburgh can continue to get this little screen out there, you see good protection by Wolfley, 73, 52 Webster. Pollard breaks it to the outside. That's the one thing that'll get San Diego out of that defense.
Pollard with a very fine reception out of the backfield turns it into a 14-yard gain and a first down for the Steelers. Malone again going on first down, going for it all. Weegee Thompson is out there, and he's got the ball inside the 10-yard line.
Big catch.
Weegee Thompson, a 6'6" wide receiver from Florida State. On the fly, makes his 12th catch of the season, his biggest of the season, a 48-yarder. And now the Steelers will have the ball first down and goal at the 7-yard line of San Diego.
Good play action fake. Malone puts this one right on the numbers.
That's Toast chasing him.
Comes into the ball game with very, very poor completion percentages, 45.3, but this one is laces up on the right foot in stride, just the way it happens in practice. A 48-yard completion, Thompson's longest reception
Patterson was
of the
covering on the
season.
play, the man they call Toast. He's been burned so often, that's why the Giants cut him. And now it's first and goal for the Steelers at the 7-yard line. Fumble ball indeed. Does San Diego have it?
I don't believe it. That's the ninth fumble, no matter who's recovered
this
it.
game.
Pittsburgh ball.
Steelers somehow got it back. I wonder if it's the cold day or what, because Fouts has had 2 misconnections with his center.
Well, there's certainly no wind involved in this. Webster, the center, has been there forever. That ball just bounces right out of Mark Malone's hands. Looks like Abercrombie was the man on the recovery.
Steeler offense now spreads the San Diego defense with wide receivers to either side. Tight end is Danzel Lee. They never throw to him. Malone looks. He's in trouble. Mark Malone on the run. He could be heading in, and Malone takes it in, standing up for the go-ahead touchdown. Broken play. He wanted to throw, and Mark Malone, 6'4", 220. He was a standout runner before knee surgery slowed him a bit. Shows some speed, enough to get through the Chargers for a touchdown.
Good coverage by San Diego. And Chuck Noll happy with the athletic ability of Mark Malone. He's got nobody to throw it here, and all of a sudden, the containment on the outside. Watch 56 Chip Banks. He trips over a Pittsburgh Steeler defender. And Malone lugs it into the end zone. 1, 2, 3, 6 points for Pittsburgh.
Extra point is hit up and good, and the Steelers, who trailed 9-0 at the end of the first quarter, have now opened up a 14-9 lead with 8:14 to play in the third quarter. Mark Malone just ran it in. His 48-yard throw to Weegee Thompson set it up, and the Steelers have come back from a 9-0 deficit to lead this game in the third quarter, 14-9. Here's Gary Anderson running back the Steeler kickoff. Anderson finding a way, maintaining his balance down the far sideline, crosses the 30. Gets out close to the 33-yard line as the wind is picking up in intensity. The temperature is dropping.
Watch this play again by Mark Malone. Joe Phillips, 75 of San Diego, almost makes the sack. He comes from the left-hand side of the picture. Good coverage by San Diego. He makes a swipe, and then as Malone gets out here, the best bit of luck, watch the left foot of Chip Banks right there. It hits Danzel Lee, knocks him to the ground. Malone runs it in 7 yards, and the Steelers lead.
Now Fouts, as we go to live action, takes a look, fires a strike down the field to Chandler. Foot races on. Donnie Shell runs him down to the 47-yard line of Pittsburgh. 20-yard gain.
This has been a game filled with mistakes. San Diego has had their chances.
Have they? Look at that. Look at
9
this.
fumbles. Been a safety, block punt for a touchdown.
I tell you, I keep hearkening back to this, though. This is Steeler weather, even though we're in San Diego. It is cold and windy, just like it is in the Steel City in December. handoff. Straight ahead to Curtis Adams. And on a first down carry, he's good for 2. Down to the 44-yard line of Pittsburgh, where nose tackle Gary Dunn, who very quietly has been playing an excellent game.
Now the San Diego Chargers with a little more pressure on this drive in that they have to answer that last scoring drive with a scoring drive of their own. And obviously, Abbott's problems converting field goals. They got to get it a lot closer. In fact, they probably have to get it in the end zone.
Keith Willis, Gary Dunn, Keith Gary across the defensive front of the Steelers. Fouts on second down and almost 8. Takes a drop and a look. More time. Another throw and Everett had it. Room service interception. Remember earlier this rookie intercepted and ran it back for a penalty against his running mate Delton Hall. Brought the play back.
That ball was intended for Lionel James. We got a flag on San Diego.
Looked like it was intended for Everett.
He was open. Lionel James is the intended receiver. Fouts has got a lot of time, and apparently why is they were holding. Boom.
I'm going to get that one, Trumpy.
Offense number 76, 10 yards, still second down.
Watch the ball sail right over James's head. Everett says, ooh.
I know you would have gotten it when you played so long and so well for the Bengals, excepting at Three River Stadium.
Yeah, I was generally prone. I could count the fibers in the turf at Three Rivers.
Down, here's the blitz, and a nice dump off as he gets it to Anderson. Gary Anderson running out, and he's finally out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Not very heavy. He's 6 feet 1, 178 pounds, but his balance is absolutely remarkable. And that time he tiptoed the sideline, good for a gain of 14 yards on the play.
You knew that play was going to work because Gary Dunn was chasing him. Not Steeler football, but they are leading. That's generally the way the Chargers play. 20 rushes, 31 passes, but when the Steelers are at their best, they run about twice as many times as they pass.
Dan Fouts, the 15-year pro from the University of Oregon. 6 times a Pro Bowl player. He's got to do it for the Chargers. He is their offense as they pitch back now. Adams breaks the run. Free ball on the field. Looks like San Diego has it. Down to the 32-yard line. It'll be a first down for the Chargers, but very nearly yet another turnover to Pittsburgh.
10 fumbles. A good cutback by Curtis Adams. Now watch what happens here. The offensive line does a great job, and then all of a sudden Adams cuts back. Greg Carr, 91, almost makes the tackle and strips the ball away. Thomas Everett Lachey makes the recovery. Carr knocks it away when he spins around. Everett almost has a chance at it. Lachey recovers for San Diego.
Second time that Adams has fumbled the ball. Now Fouts on a quick sprint. Pulls up. Takes a look. Throws and makes the connection to Bernstein, but it's picked up by Donnie Shell. Running in the open field. There's a penalty marker down there waving the play off.
I think it's no catch.
There is a yellow flag down, unless it's a piece of paper, and there's so much paper on the field at this point.
Now, Don, what I think they're saying is that he caught the ball and he was on the ground.
At the 19-yard line, something yellow is lying there.
This play, I would imagine, will be reviewed.
Pass interference, defense number 53.
Brian Hinkle, he was the man in coverage. Hands on Bernstein.
This is almost like comedy of errors where they're coughing this thing up.
I think this is a true catch. It looks like Hinkle, just as the ball gets to the tight end, has got his hands on his legs. As Bernstein stretches out to make the catch, it looks like Hinkle's got his arms wrapped around him.
Fumble. Pass interference was defense number 53, and the penalty is accepted. First down.
I would think so. Penalties accepted with 5:46 to play, third quarter. The Chargers, after opening up a 9-0 lead, they had that at the end of the first quarter, have now been outscored 14-0 since it's a 14-9 game, San Diego. But the Chargers are San Diego trailing. The Chargers now challenging as the pitch back goes to Anderson. Weaving into the Steelers, he wisely puts both arms on the ball. Now we have a moment. We go to NFL Live and Bob Costas. Bob?
Don Don, just a reminder that this coming Saturday, before the Chiefs-Broncos game, we'll have a special edition of NFL Live. Joe Namath and Len Dawson will be among our guests as we ask the question, who is the best quarterback at present in the NFL? Montana, Marino, Elway, Fouts? Who's your choice? We'll try and answer the question at 3:30 Eastern this coming Saturday. Don?
I think Bob Elway, Montana, Marino have to be close. It's got to be one of there. Here's a sack of Fouts as the Steelers are just unmerciful going for that ball.
Second sack of the day. Greg Carr, they've not picked him up yet. Now, this is the fourth time the San Diego Chargers have been down inside the 30-yard line and have gotten no offensive points. I don't know why the Chargers can't figure out something to pick that blitz up. Here he comes again. He's late. We've seen this about 4 or 5 times. It ends up being the second sack for Pittsburgh today. And it brings up a third down and about 14, maybe 15 now for San Diego. Chargers are 5 of 10 in these conversions.
Third down it is. Third down and 15 for Fouts and the Chargers as he positions himself at the 35 of the Steelers. Another blitz well picked up. But an errant throw trying to go to Little Train James. I tell you, these Steeler defensive backs, they stick people when the ball doesn't even get to them.
They have since the late 60s.
Steeler right here, Delson Hall.
He plays the same spot Mel Blount did. This ball is poorly thrown by Dan Fouts. It almost looks, man, look at the way that thing's going.
I saw Mel the other night at the Heisman Trophy dinner in New York. He looks in better shape than when he played. He's just lean and ready. I said, you want to get back in there? He said, I'd like to. 46-yard field goal try by Abbott. It's on the way, but it won't get there. So he's 0 for 3, and those 6 points missed, or 9 points missed, have been vital in this game as the Steelers continue to lead the Chargers 14-9, and momentum is sung strongly to the Pittsburghers.
Dennis McKnight, the snapper on that last field goal attempt. This is the high one. Moshenko is the holder. He barely gets it on the ground. And Abbott realizes that, kind of holds up a little bit. I also think of Abbott acts there a little bit. Plays a little John Wayne. Woodson landing on his foot. He might have gotten a flag from Jim Tunney.
You got to believe here, Trump, the Steelers are going to try to run the ball even though they're stacking the defense. Jam in the front again. Linebackers come up in the gaps. Malone calls his own number, and he's got an open track down the sideline. Mark Malone slides to a halt. He's immediately down. He declares himself down when he slides feet forward. You can't hit him. Now without 15 being tacked down. Mark Malone on a call play as the Chargers were looking to stop the inside running game. Goes around in for 28 yards.
This is designed, too. This is not a missed assignment or a missed handoff. He has every intention of keeping this. Abercrombie does a great job of selling it. Lee Williams almost there to make the tackle. But a 28-yard run. Biggest of the day for Pittsburgh. Steelers now taking control.
Automatically down. You declare yourself down when you slide feet first. Head first, it's open season. First and 10 Steelers. Down past to Pollard, and he breaks it down the sideline and gets down to the 30-yard line. It's a gain of 13 yards and another Pittsburgh first down as the third quarter clock shows 3:40 to play.
And that's the one play that Pittsburgh has continually gone to in the face of that strange defense that San Diego is running that's worked. You see Wolfley 73 out in front. Pollard's out there all by himself. Plummer finally makes the tackle, but 13 yards later.
We're at San Diego, Jack Murphy Stadium on an extraordinarily cold day for this warm part of the country. Chill factors have this game played in chill factors down in the 20s. Right now, with the Steelers leading 14-9, Pittsburgh guns the ball at San Diego with the running game. Pollard takes it, and Gary Plummer stops it on a first down carry. That's good for a gain of about 3 yards.
Now you can see how much more comfortable Pittsburgh is. They're back in character, leading the football game. They can run a variety of offensive sets and run the ball, including the quarterback. And now really puts the pressure on the San Diego defense to at least allow no more than a field goal here.
Last time these teams played in '85, it was a 55-44 final. San Diego won 98 points that day. The Steelers don't play here that often. They've not won at San Diego in 10 years. And off on a draw play, an attempted draw, very nearly another fumble on the field.
You're right.
Second down and 8 play, and now third down arises, 3rd and 8, as Abercrombie did well to hold on to the ball.
Looked like Malone was a long way away from Abercrombie. A very long. Ooh, that was almost on the ground too. Pittsburgh today, their big problem, 1 of 7 in third down conversions. They've got 3rd and 9 here.
And the ball positioned at the 28-yard line. 4 wideouts in the game now.
Watch Malone here on the keep again, Don.
Forward in motion. He brings the corner in, then out. Malone takes a look. He throws. He makes the connection to Weegee Thompson down close to the 21-yard line. 3rd down and 9 play is very close to a first down, but where they're spotting the ball, it might be inches short.
This is a nice little pick play. Most teams in the NFL run it. This time Malone is able to get it to Weegee Thompson. Excellent job. Elvis Patterson in the coverage. 4th down.
More big people come in the game now for the Pittsburgh Steelers, as in these swirling winds, they don't want to risk a field goal try. They've watched Abbott of the Chargers, the hometown kicker, missed 3 in the swirling winds. 4th down for Pittsburgh. Less than a yard. Less than a foot, really.
It's like quarterback sneak. There's nobody up there right over the center. Look, it's wide open there.
Pollard, he's got it. He's to the 20-yard line. Linesman comes in, and might be a marker down also. There is. The far linesman threw a marker down. That stops the clock with 50 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter.
Illegal motion against Pittsburgh. Oh.
Well, they'll send out Gary Anderson to kick a field goal. Nose of the ball is on the 20. That would be a first down if the play went.
Watch Terry Long, the right guard. No, it's not him. I don't believe it's 74.
Illegal motion on the offense. We'll measure to see what's the first down.
I don't think there's anybody there on the offensive line that moved prematurely.
Now there's a question where the ball is spotted. If he's got the first down, he has it by the nose of the ball.
If he doesn't, of course, San Diego declines the penalty. They got it, so they have to take the penalty.
It is a first down by measurement. Penalty, illegal motion will be accepted. 5 yards, still 4th down.
So it'll be 4th and just over 5, and Gary Anderson is coming out. One of the best. Anderson has hit 15 of 19 so far this year.
Second best field goal kicker in the history of the game, behind Morton Anderson.
During one stretch of his career, he's now in his 6th year from Syracuse, born in South Africa. He led the American Conference in scoring 3 straight years.
Offense, it's 4th down.
Extremely effective long.
I'm not sure how you judge the wind here. You can see the net behind the goalposts.
I don't think you can judge it. I think you got to try to hit it down the middle and hope you hit it hard enough to cut through the wind. 43-yard attempt. Anderson finds a way. Handles it through the middle. It is up and good. And all of a sudden, the Steelers have command of this game, 17-9. Chargers need a touchdown and a field goal to come back in this one. We still have the whole 4th quarter to play. Gary Anderson, who just hit the 43-yard field goal into the wind, extends the Steelers' advantage to 8 points. They're up 17-9 now with 37 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter.
Anderson now 7 of 9 from 40 to 49 in this season.
Chargers got the jump, as you just saw on the running score, 9-0 at the end of the 1st quarter. But the Steelers have come back with 17 points since. Anderson hits this one into the wind. Back there is Jamie Holland, a super fast kick returner from Ohio State. He struck hard at the 17-yard line by Dwight Stone. And the Chargers have to go the long field from their 19-yard line. Chargers have allowed almost 200 yards a game to the opposition's running game the past 3 losses. Today, the Steelers had only 77 rushing yards, and 35 of those have come on runs by the quarterback, Mark Malone. The Charger offense has no points. Defense scored them all. Block, punt, and recovery for a touchdown and a sack in the end zone. Gary Anderson hit in the open field. Woodson came up. That's why he got $2.8 million, although they expect a lot more return down the line on that big an investment for the 10th player picked in the last draft.
Don, it looks like the Pittsburgh Steelers going with their nickel defense now all the way as the quarter ends. Woodson is that nickel back, along with Everett there to make the tackle.
That's the end of the third quarter. 17-9, the Steelers lead it. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Numbers through three quarters. Chargers with a lot more offense, but no points from their offense, and they trail in the game 17-9.
Biggest point, those turnovers have been inside the Pittsburgh 34 times. No offensive points. They've had their chances.
Pittsburgh defense has allowed one first-quarter touchdown all season. None today. Chargers scored 9 in the first quarter, but all by their defense. Fouts looks, throws into traffic, and makes a connection. It looks like Kellen Winslow comes down with the ball.
Nice catch. He got hammered just as the ball got to his hands. Fouts now 20 of 31.
On a 2nd and 12 play, he gets it ahead for a gain of about 6 yards.
Greg Carr hit him just as the ball got to him. Woodson helps. The Steelers staying with that nickel defense.
Chandler comes out to the near side, wide to the right. Holohan, the tight end, is flexed out at the top of your screen.
Blitz everybody.
Fouts gets it away. Little Train James can't get high enough to get it. 5 feet 5, but a lot of jumping ability. He's been the most productive Charger this year. Their coaches say if they had to pick an MVP, it would be number 26 at this point in the season.
91, Greg Carr coming again, that time picked up by Spencer. Delton Hall with excellent coverage. There as the ball gets there. James also almost comes up the reception, but the Chargers miss on that third down conversion.
There's Rod Woodson back to return the punt at his 31-yard line. Mosienko, who can really unload on the ball, ready to kick it into the wind. Big rush. They don't get to it. Mosienko hits a high spiral, and it'll roll dead somewhere about the 37 or 8-yard line of the Steelers, and they'll go on offense 1st and 10 there with 14:05 to play. It was a 39-yard punt. Pittsburgh 17, San Diego 9. Gold, San Diego. This is Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. I think now, Trump, the Chargers are forced into an all-out passing game to get back in this. Their offense hasn't been doing it lately.
That's exactly the one thing that San Diego did not want to do is get into a passing game. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, can stand back there and with different formations just run the ball, keep running it, and they're pretty much in control of this football game. San Diego has had their chances today, but with all the turnovers, their opportunities inside Pittsburgh's 30-yard line, couldn't get it in the end zone. And
couldn't hit the field goals. They're 0 for 3 on those.
Yeah, now it looks like San Diego's pretty much got to hang on for the rest of this ball game.
Missed field goals become huge when you miss 3 and you're down by 8.
Last 2 times the Steelers have had it, they've scored.
Malone 10 of 21 for 131 yards. He's not been intercepted. Interceptions were a killer. I mean, this Pittsburgh team, the league is just becoming aware of how good they are because their defense is getting. They should have beat New Orleans, turned it over 6 times in the second half, and still almost won the game.
5 yards, still 1st down.
That's on Idolette. This is a mentally tough football team.
I wouldn't want to have to play these guys down the stretch.
That's the character of Chuck Noll. It's passed on to his players.
This game is the property of the National Football League. The Pittsburgh Steelers and San Diego Chargers. All rights are reserved. First down and 15 as Mark Malone drops the throw, screens it off, and he gets it to Frank Pollard, who loses the ball but falls on it.
Unbelievable.
Today's game is brought to you by Bud Light, proud sponsor of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. Everything else is just a light. By Kmart, the savings place. We're proud to say you've made us America's favorite store. And by Radio Shack, the technology store.
Steelers have the ball now. 2nd down and 11 coming up. Malone with a quick drop. Blitz. He lets it go long. He's got a man going hard for the ball. And Ouija Thompson. And there's a marker down in the San Diego secondary. There's so many papers and cups on the field. That looks like a marker.
I'm not sure, though. Although he is running back to Jim Tunney, the referee. You may be right. There may be a flag down. Illegal use of the hands against San Diego. You picked one up.
Defensive penalty. Automatic first down. It was a 2nd and 11 play.
Illegal contact. Defense. Number 34. 5 yards. First down.
Illegal contact is not a... Yeah, it is a first down. A position at the 42-yard line. It's against the Chargers and moved out to the 42, and they called it on Elvis Toast Patterson. That man has toast on his license plate, his California plates. He said they call him Toast because he's the toast of the town, but they didn't buy that with the Giants. They cut him after he got beat about 8 different ways against the Bears in the season opener.
They may not buy it here either.
Well, he beat the Raiders. He ran back an interception in overtime for a touchdown. Here is a run now by Ernest Jackson, who's gotten limited work. In fact, he's been out 3 weeks with a badly bruised back. Cleveland and the Steelers, if this score holds up, will be tied for the lead. Houston was beaten today at New Orleans. Cincinnati's been history for some time in the AFC Central. Our condolences to Mr. Trumpy on that team.
No problem with me. I don't draw checks from them anymore. They can fend for themselves.
San Diego started the day a half game behind Denver. Denver at Seattle today, a later start. Pattern. Ouija Thompson, I'll tell you, he's going to get a game ball. Good for a 9-yard gain, or about a 7-yard gain when they position the ball at the 48-yard line of San Diego.
Calvin Sweeney didn't even make the trip this week, so Ouija Thompson forced to start, and he's had a very, very good day. Was on the receiving end of that big catch from Mark Malone, and again, Elvis Toast Patterson, the man closest in coverage.
Talking to Chuck Noll at some length yesterday at the Pittsburgh Steelers practice, I asked him how the game has evolved where most teams are pass-oriented. For instance, in the win over Seattle last week, the Steelers ran the ball 70% of the time. They're still a running team. He said, well, big play offenses are also susceptible to big play mistakes. He said the running game, people go to the passing game more because it's probably less work. He said to run the ball down the field and sustain a long drive with 4- and 5-yard plays takes an all-out effort by everybody every down. A lot of people don't want to put that effort out. We still think it's the way to win.
It also takes a different type of attitude, and that's that always attacking type of attitude. When you throw the ball and throw the ball with regularity like San Diego does, some coaches think your offensive line gets soft, passive.
Started his coaching career here in San Diego under Sid Gilman. He was here as an assistant for 6 years and went to the Colts for 3 years, then to the Steelers, where he's now in his 19th year as head coach. The only man to direct 4 Super Bowl winners. Ernest Jackson gets the carry as the Steelers now running the clock with 11:51 to play in the game. Steelers 17, Chargers 9. Steelers down 9-0 at the end of the first quarter, have rallied since. Hal Saunders called last week's game at Houston a must game. They asked him what he called this one. He said a must game. But still, even with a defeat today, they're an 8-5 ball club and still in the playoff chase. But if they do lose today, the Chargers, it'll be their 4th straight loss. It caromed off the intended receiver, Denzel Lee.
Thomas Benson almost came up with the interception, which is what the Chargers need right now to get back in the ball game. More points from their defense. Play action fake. Good time for Malone to throw the football. This one is just a little bit behind Denzel Lee. Watch how close this comes to being picked off by Benson.
Although they've not made it public, the Steelers' #1 priority in the next draft is a tight end. Few good ones coming out. Here's a swing pass, goes to Abercrombie, running ahead for a first down. Abercrombie's not done until he's down to the 23-yard line. Look at all those Steeler fans that are here. I don't know if they came from Pittsburgh or they just turned colors out here. That
screenplay has worked all day long for Pittsburgh. Those Those people come from Pittsburgh. They were out here to get a suntan. Much to their surprise, they got their stocking caps on. 56, Chip Banks realizes it's a screen. There's nothing he can do about it. Nothing at all. Excellent blocking out front. Abercrombie turns it into a 24-yard pickup, and that screen has been the big play for Pittsburgh offensively.
I've always maintained you could recruit a great football team out of the stands at Three River Stadium to Steeler game. There's more guys in all-state jackets. End up to Pollard as he's down to the 20-yard line. Western Pennsylvania, in the opinion of a lot of college coaches, is the mother lode of high school football talent. Down to the 20, and it'll be second down and 8.
There's some fair talent out in this state, though.
Yep.
Terrible beach towel. That's from a number of years ago.
The terrible towels they waved at Three Rivers during those glory years of the 70s, followed by the terrible truck which would drive around the field. Malone in a draw. Pollard runs, and he thunders down to the 16-yard line. It'll bring up third down and about 5, and at this point, the Steelers have methodically taken over this football game after trailing 9-0.
Now, you give this football team enough opportunities to win the game, and they'll do it. And San Diego has done just that. With the turnovers, with the fumbles, with the 4 times inside the 30 with no offensive points. Steelers don't fumble the ball very often. Now they're in a position to run it at will.
They make the playoffs to be a long shot, but they've got defense, and you can beat anybody with defense. Malone throws it. Lee Williams goes high, and he might have been still running had he caught it. As Malone was hit hard, helped up by Chip Banks. They've seen enough of Chip Banks during his 5 years at Cleveland when he had to face him twice a year.
He didn't want to throw this, but still did. Chip Banks hanging all over him. Lee Williams out there. I think that ball was intended for Carter. Rodney Carter was out there. So Anderson on to try again.
This guy looks like, you see him like a choir boy. He couldn't kick it 20 yards, and he knocks it out of the arena. Another one. Bangs it through. So Anderson on the away field in the wind hits a 33-yarder. It's 20-9 Pittsburgh. Bo was a perfect 10 at Seattle a few weeks ago. He was out of business early today at Kansas City. 3 rushes, 1 yard, and out of the game. That game is now tied early in the 4th quarter, 10-10. It's 20-9 here. Pittsburgh in the lead with 9:04 to play. Anderson hits it downfield. Running it back is Jamie Howard. Markers down. Again, we guess it's a marker because there's so many papers on the field from the wind.
On that last field goal by Gary Anderson was Pittsburgh's 20th straight point. Came from being down 9-0 to lead 29. And here's the problem for San Diego so far today. Their second half possessions, nothing. Fouts 4 of his last 13 passes completed.
Fouts takes a look, throws a fastball, makes the connection to Wes Chandler. It's a first down for the Chargers. Out to the 41-yard line. Tackle on the play by cornerback Dwayne Woodruff.
Chargers first half possessions, weird. Fumble, 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 punt, punt, missed field goal, and they scored 9 points. Figure that one out, kids.
Fouts has to keep on throwing. The Steelers keep showing the blitz alignment. He's dangerous. Comes up tight, then backs off in coverage as Fouts looks on first down. And Keith Gary hits him, but he does release the ball for a first down connection. Wes Chandler gets it down to the 39-yard line of Pittsburgh. A 20-yard gain. Fouts paid. He's got the guts to hang into the last possible moment, and he needed it all.
Good protection that time. Total zone by Pittsburgh. Fouts was able to throw it over the dropping linebackers and underneath the dropping defensive backs for the completion.
Here's the blitz by Carr, a dump off, and it hits the turf. Dan Fouts paid the price. Carr coming up the middle at him again.
They haven't picked that one up yet. Lionel James was the intended receiver. He must not have noticed the blitz because he didn't even see it. Fouts certainly has seen a lot of Greg Carr today. Watch again. He times this perfectly to be right there at the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped. Bam, nobody touches him.
The ball on a 2nd and 10 play. He gets down to the 35-yard line of the Steelers. Game clock a factor now, 7:30 and ticking down.
Chargers 5 of 12 in third down conversions, and this is a 2-down area. I mean, even with 7:24 left, to get back in this ball game, they need 3 scores. They got to go on both downs here.
Chiefs just went up by 3 points on the Raiders, 13-10 on a Nick Lowry field goal with 4:44 to play. Tip ball intercepted by Dwayne Woodruff. That'll make the highlight reel, and Dwayne Woodruff wants to get some more as he's back to the 23-yard line, and it's over for San Diego, and the Chargers know it.
Outstanding play by Dwayne Woodruff. The blitz was coming again. Look at the turnovers.
These guys are tough, the Steelers.
Especially when they're ahead.
They were tough when they were behind. They were down 9-0 and stuck it to them.
Now watch once again. Ball is tipped. Woodruff stays with it. The old tip drill that coaches go through with those players all day long, and it pays off for Pittsburgh. Another drive stopped. On the sideline, his 4th interception of the season. It was a result of, again, pressure by Greg Carr up the middle. This time 91 is picked up. Masick does a good job, but I think Fouts is expecting the pressure. Woodson 26 jumps. Wes Chandler tips it, and he tips it right to Dwayne Woodruff, excuse me.
These Steelers at their workout yesterday, like a bunch of young stallions in a corral, they couldn't wait to play. Slow start, but this will be the first time all season their regular team has won 2 games in a row. The Steelers are going to go to 8-5, tied with the Browns for the top. Frank Pollard runs, described by one of his teammates, Walter Abercrombie, as a guy who runs like he's mad at somebody on the defense. He takes on tacklers. Frank Pollard, 230-pounder from Baylor. Miscues, and there were many. Probably as many as there's been in a game this season.
Yeah, of those, San Diego's had 7 fumbles, an interception, and 3 missed field goals. It has not been pretty.
As for the Steelers, though, as they come on after trailing 9-0, now in command 20-9. 2nd and 8. Malone to the run. Abercrombie gets the call. Not much there. Charger defense still playing spirited, tough football, shutting down the run.
Steelers have not done a very good job of converting 3rd downs. Look at how well they've done in the second half. 13 points and 179 yards. 2 of 10 on 3rd down conversions. They'll be more than happy to hang on to the football here and just let Newsom punt it away.
Al Saunders, the 40-year-old coach of the Chargers, walking up and down in front of the bench, exhorting the players there. A lot of fire burns in that man. He was odds on for Coach of the Year when his team got off to an 8-1 start. An 8-game winning streak is now turned into a 4-game slide.
Too much time. And I'll tell you, I worry about the San Diego Chargers here. This is the 2nd straight week now that San Diego's been in a position where they have to win a football game, and they haven't. I don't think they'll win another game this season. They play Indianapolis, and then they play Denver. And the blood's got to have drained out of the heads of these kids here in San Diego after winning 8 straight. And he talks about emotion. They started out this game with a great game plan. The defense was working, the offense was gaining yards, but the missed opportunities and the turnovers just took them out of the game.
Third down and 11 now for the Steelers. Pitch back goes to Walter Abercrombie. Not wanting to risk the turnover by putting the ball in the air. The Steelers go to the run, and their special teams come running out now. The punt unit comes out. Only touchdown scored today by the Chargers against the Steeler punting unit when they blocked Newsome in the first quarter in the end zone and fell out for a score.
Well, we certainly know what they're going to do here. They got to go after the block.
Just gets it away again. Vince Glenn, who blocked the first one, almost had another. It'll be down at the 42-yard line. And there's the Chargers going offense. And it's down for San Diego.
Kellen Winslow. That was a 34-yard punt. Pittsburgh will be very happy with the distance just to get it off.
Big game next Saturday at Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado. The Broncos going for the playoffs with their superb quarterback John Elway go against a tough Kansas City team that at the moment is leading the LA Raiders 13-10. An AFC West battle. The next Saturday all begins with a special edition of NFL Live at 3:30 Eastern Time. Fouts with time, looking deep. Now he dumps it off, but he's too high for Gary Anderson. It'll be second down and 10.
Here in San Diego don't like that. Hard to boo Dan Fouts in this stadium. All the numbers, the yards, the completions, the touchdowns he's produced in the last 10 or 12 years with very little around him. This game is a game of what have you done for me lately? And what Dan Fouts has done for San Diego lately, it's not his responsibility, but they're about to lose again.
A fourth straight loss for the Chargers. Trying to get by, and he's run down by Merriweather. There was almost a dream scenario for the Chargers after losing their opener, 8 straight wins, the best record in the NFL, the possibility of the home field through the playoffs, and of course Super Bowl 22 will be played here. That's what's all coming apart now. Fouts not close as he's popped releasing the ball. Boy, these Steelers, I'll tell you one thing, win or lose, you pay.
Yeah, they make sure that when you play Pittsburgh, Mike Charles talking about booing. But when you play Pittsburgh and they get up on you, they know how to rub it in legally. I'm not talking illegally. I don't remember many football games I've played against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this was back before the flood, where I wasn't in the whirlpool 3 days out of 5 the next week. They raised bruises where you didn't think you could get bruises.
Put you in the tub, sometimes in the hospital.
Fourth down for San Diego. Blitz by everybody.
Chandler, what a play. One of the great ones. And again, Dan Fouts is struck hard. Keith Willis came in and stuck him. 14-yard gain on the play, though. Maybe it was Carr. We'll see on the replay.
Fouts knows he's going to get hit because he feels the pressure everywhere. This ball is 3/4 of the way there before Wes Chandler gets his head around to catch it. Now watch Dan Fouts get hammered. He has been pressured, hurried, as they call it, a lot today. And when you have to throw it every down, those defensive linemen become sprinters up the field.
Fouts again an out pattern, Little Train James. This is the connection. Train left the station.
And I see Dan Fouts gets the majority of the boos, but there have been quite a few drop passes here today. And in the last 3 weeks, including this one, the 4th week, there have been an awful lot of drop passes by San Diego receivers. This one's on the money.
Chargers the rest of the way in their bid for a playoff spot go against the Indianapolis Colts next Sunday here at Jack Murphy Stadium, and then go to Denver on the final regular season game. And here's Gary Anderson getting hit and still rolling on down, and he has a first down for the Chargers with 3:30 to go. A 2nd and 10 play. He's ahead for 13 yards.
They need a quick score here, and they still got a chance. It would be their first offensive score of the game, though.
Down by 11, they need 2 touchdowns. Throwing a catch, it's down to the 15-yard line as Lionel James comes up with the ball. Ran into same backfield over with Bo Jackson. A 16-yard gain, and the Chargers mounting a spirited late rally that has this place alive again now. Into the end zone, open man, little Dwayne James comes down with the ball. Touchdown San Diego with 2:56 to play, and it's not over yet as the Chargers are down by 5 with the extra point coming up. A 15-yard touchdown throw.
The Steelers tried to change defensive personnel on that play, Don, and they got caught short-handed. There was no one covering James at all. Not sure we're going to be able to see the coverage, but there was a lot of confusion. Fouts puts this right on the money, and James makes this catch. Now this extra point is vital.
Good. That makes it a 20-16 game.
Reason I say that.
Still need a touchdown.
Yeah, reason I say that's vital. If they miss that and then score another touchdown, Pittsburgh can still tie. Now, you see the confusion there. Robin Cole, 56, and Merriweather, and it looks like 56 Cole is the man that's supposed to have James, did not identify him, and he's almost all by himself standing in the end zone for the completion. There you see James. I'm uncovered. My hand's up. Get it to me. Fouts does, and he catches it. Now the onside kick would certainly be in order here. A lot of fans who have left. I wonder if they're out in the parking lot trying to get back in.
That's happened. San Diego, the offense of the 70s, Eric Coryell. The torch has been passed to Saunders, who has tried to put more emphasis on defense here in San Diego. Chargers used to have to score 45 to win by 1.
And they kick it away. What's going on here? Pittsburgh gets it at their 35. I don't understand that. At least you got to give it a shot.
Ball replaced at the 35-yard line. Pittsburgh's ball, first down.
Chargers have 3 timeouts.
I'll be called on that because an onside kick attempt doesn't give you that much better field position if the other team gets it anyway. That much worse field position.
Well, he's mad at somebody. He's not happy with one of his players. I don't know who it is. No, I'm not exactly sure who he was mad at. Roshenko was the kicker.
Tom beat. Picks up. Rallying for the Charger defense to get the ball back. The Steelers, who seem to have a lock on this game, now holding to a 4-point lead with 2:51 to play. Pittsburgh ready to run the ball. Ernest Jackson, both arms on the ball, takes it out to the 38-yard line. A first down carry was good for about 3.
San Diego's not taking timeouts.
Well, they've got 3 left. So do the Steelers.
Yeah, but your defense has got to call the timeouts to save the time for your offense.
Steelers huddling at their leisure using the full 30-second clock. That's the game clock down to 2:25.
They're going to give Pittsburgh almost 30 seconds off this clock. You got to call timeouts now.
That's the 30-second clock. Malone, pro that he is, using it all. So here's a handoff. Ernest Jackson turns upfield. And again, both arms on the ball as the Chargers attack the ball now. Billy Ray Smith calls a timeout with 2:05 to play. And, of course, they'll get another timeout after the next play. They won't be charged when we go to the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, well, now, see, if they'd have called a timeout before, they'd have used 2 and gotten 3. Now it is they're going to use 1 timeout and get 2. I mean, your offense can stop the clock when it gets the ball by throwing the ball out of bounds. The defense is the one that's got to save you as much time as they possibly can in the latter stages of a football game.
To those viewers who have just joined us to watch 'Tis the Season to be Smurfy, please stay tuned. 'Tis the Season to be Smurfy will be seen in its entirety immediately following football, except for Mountain and Pacific time zone stations, where the program will be seen at its regular time. A Mouse, a Mystery, and Me, Family Ties, and the Father Clement story, following 'Tis the Season to be Smurfy.
Back to the football game here. When you're on defense down and have all 3 timeouts left, there is no reason to have one of those timeouts left. You got to use them all. Pittsburgh Steelers were just given almost 30 seconds by the San Diego Chargers. All they got to do is call a timeout. You don't know what Pittsburgh's going to do, but you need as much time for your offense as you possibly can.
Mark Vlasic on the sideline there, the backup quarterback for the San Diego Chargers, a rookie out of Iowa. Strong-armed, as Coach Hayden Fry said, we might send him to Iran. He could overthrow the Ayatollah because he's overthrown everyone else here at Iowa.
He's not related to the Pickles, is he?
No, but they like him. He's got a lot of ability. Big and strong, and of course, Fouts in the twilight of a Hall of Fame career.
Now, obviously, San Diego must stop here, call a timeout.
Steelers who lead by 4. Pitch back. Abercrombie. Blocker in front. Yilkin, but he can't make the play. And the Chargers hold. With 2 minutes to play, Pittsburgh has to punt the ball. So we could be coming down to one of those fantastic finishes we've had so many times when the Chargers come from behind. Here at San Diego, because the Chargers are going to get the ball back now, trailing by 4, and Fouts just took him in the last time they had possession.
And I still harken back to that 30 seconds loss that San Diego did not call the timeout. Pittsburgh allowed the 30-second clock to expire, and when your offense comes back on the field, you feel like 2 minutes and 30 seconds you can pretty much do anything you want with your offense. They have to get in the end zone. That's certainly an advantage for Pittsburgh, and I have a feeling too that with the success that San Diego's had getting close and also blocking punts today by Harry Newsome, that you got to go for the block here to try to shorten the field, tip the ball, if you anything to try to make it a little better for your offense. Chuck Noll standing on the sideline wondering how in the world do we allow San Diego to get back in this ball game.
Well, I'm sure that Al Saunders, talking there to Fouts, is wondering how in the world do we get down 20-9 after we led 9-0. And only look at the play sheet, all the fumbles, all the missed field goals, but it's not over yet. Newsome ready to punt. The rush is set. Here it comes. Newsome gets it away and hits a long one. It'll carry all the way down inside the 5. It goes in for a touchback before the Steeler Dwight Stone can get to the ball. A 56-yard punt. It comes out to the 20. Dan Fouts and the Chargers now must go 80 yards into the Steeler end zone with 1:50 to play to win this game. There'll be no tie.
Pittsburgh now with their nickel package in there are taking Greg Carr out. They may even have the dime package. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they're going pretty much a standard defense here, Pittsburgh is. They don't want to use the prevent. Going blitz.
They're coming hard. A throw is to Chandler in the open field. Chandler is inside the 30 or outside the 30 to the 35-yard line. First down Steelers, and the clock runs down to 1:39. Chargers with 2 timeouts remaining.
16-yard pickup, and not a bad move he put on that defensive back to pick up another 10 yards.
Steelers put Merriweather in a down lineman position. He's rushing. Dump off goes to his area to Anderson, running hard. Anderson trying to get out of bounds, cannot. He's out to the 44-yard line on a first down play, and now the Chargers call timeout with 1:18 to play. Lupe Sanchez made the tackle, bringing down Anderson before he could get out of bounds. Each side with the most valuable Gary Anderson today. The Steeler place kicker and the San Diego Charger back. 1:18 to go, and the Chargers out to their 44 now with 2nd and 4 coming up.
Now let's think along with each one of these coaches. For Chuck Noll, you want to keep the ball carrier inbounds. Therefore, you'll let him catch it inbounds. You'll protect the sideline. If you're San Diego and Al Saunders, you don't fight for inches. You try to save seconds. When you get close to that sideline, get out of bounds. And then at some point, you take a chance down the middle. Chargers still have 1 timeout left so they can reassemble. Steelers will be very, very slow to get back to the line of scrimmage. Fouts is going to call a couple of plays in the huddle, and then you always have an automatic play.
Meanwhile, Tony Dungy, defensive coordinator of the Steelers, a highly regarded talent in that area, he's calling the defenses. On the defensive front, it's a Sikkim defense. Go. Number 14 is the target. 16-10. Kansas City now leads the Raiders with just over 3 minutes to play. Anderson running to get outside. Does not. But down on a second and long 3-play.
Well, they tried there to catch Pittsburgh in a spread-out defense, and it didn't work.
Third down and 1. Fouts drops, takes a look. Plenty of time. Running out of it. Now Fouts, he could run for the first time, but does not. He throws for it. Now it's a free ball on the field, incomplete.
No signal from anybody yet.
49 seconds to play.
I have not seen anybody signal anything.
Incomplete.
Third. That's going to make it 4th down. I think Dan Fouts had so much time he didn't know what to do with it.
Chargers blocking with a vengeance when they have to.
Watch this again. Let's see if he does make the catch. It's ruled incomplete.
He could have run for a first down, but they would have probably needed a timeout after it.
No catch. Did not get the second foot down on the ground. Well, game's on this one. They got to get it.
4th down and 1. 49 seconds to play. Steelers lead the game 20-16. Spencer. He's got it. He's down to the 45-yard line of the Steelers. And quickly into alignment without a huddle go the Chargers.
Play's already been called. No problem.
Field goal doesn't help him here, and Fouts just downs the ball, uses it down, but stops the clock with 33 seconds to play.
Now, see, Don, if they saved that 30 seconds before the 2-minute warning, they got a minute left. There is no panic in this Charger offense. They'd be in a lot better shape.
At least they can at their leisure get the play in and get a line without having to rush. 33 seconds to go in the game. The Steelers down 9-0 after the first quarter, led it 20-9. Now it's been cut to 20-16. A last-ditch drive by the Chargers. Fouts against a 3-man rush as they're all back in protection. He hits Chandler, and he's down to the 24-yard line. 25 seconds left. The Chargers have one timeout. The clock is running, and the Chargers use that timeout. And so over the final 22 seconds of the game, Fouts will be pitching into the end zone every time. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. The regularly scheduled Tis the Season 2B Smurfy will be coming up immediately following this game. Our producer today for NBC Sports, Glenn Adamo. Our director, Andy Rose. Of NBC Football, Ted Nathanson. NFL Live produced by Tom Roy and Ricky Diamond. NFL Live directed by Bucky Guntz. Technical directors Ray Figelski and Richard Sansevier. Our thanks to our NBC statistician Dennis Mnuchin, to our spotters Kevin and Tim Sexton.
One of the things San Diego has to do here, any pass they throw down the middle of the field, Don, has got to be in the end zone.
Right, no timeouts. Good point. Trick play. We'll see if they have one.
Pittsburgh comes with a blitz.
Incomplete.
Whoa, what a chance they're taking.
Slant to Chandler. Good-looking play, though. He might still be going if he caught it.
Tony Dungy makes the call there on the blitz. They have gotten the Fouts so often today that they're trying to hurry him a little bit, and it works. You see Fouts is expecting Greg Carr, 91, in his face again.
Well, when they went in the last two possessions of San Diego with a 3-man rush and the 8-back defending, Fouts has gone right through them. When he gets time, he makes the connection. Now the Steelers go back into their basic pass rush defense. 20 seconds to go. 2nd and 10. No timeout. Same play. Drop ball again. And Wes Chandler hears the boos as he was looking to run before he had the handle.
See again, because it's worked so many times in the past, you see Woodson 26 right there at the line of scrimmage.
Detroit just defeated Tampa Bay 20-10. Upset there between two teams looking for high draft choices.
You got to get this ball in the end zone.
17 seconds to go. 3rd down. 2 more chances for the Chargers. No timeout. 3rd down, 20-16.
They have Kellen Winslow, number 80, in there to protect, and now Pittsburgh drops back in total zone coverage.
Fouts takes a look. He's got time. Into the end zone. Man is there. It's broken up at the 1-yard line. A clean breakup by the rookie, Wes Chandler, the intended receiver. And and the rookie Thomas Everett broke it up at the 1-yard line.
This is a total zone now. Nice big changeup by Pittsburgh. Nick Fouts expecting the blitz once again.
I'll tell you, Chandler did well to prevent an interception.
Everett makes sure that there is no connection here whatsoever. And Chandler does knock it away. You're right.
The defending Super Bowl champion Giants just went down to their 9th loss of the season, beaten at St. Louis 27-24. Last play for the Chargers. 11 seconds to go. Everybody running to the end zone. 3-man rush. He's got time. He's going to throw it too long as it's slapped away by a Steeler waiting there, and Pittsburgh will win this hard-fought game 20-16 as the Steelers take over the ball with 3 seconds to go.
And I do not believe San Diego used the final 2 minutes and 30 seconds of this game very wisely. They'd have been in a lot better shape had they called those timeouts before the 2-minute warning. A lot less pressure on the offense. Fouts ends up today 29 of 52, 334 yards, a touchdown, an interception, but a loss.
His counterpart, Mark Malone, gets an honor now as it's time for the Most Valuable Player Award sponsored by Budweiser. Today's MVP is Mark Malone from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, winning their 2nd consecutive game, go to 8-5. Malone finishing with 13 completions, 26 throws, 164 yards, and those 35 yards he had rushing were most important. Fouts, the gamer, always down to the final gun, but could not get his Chargers in again. So the Budweiser MVP is Malone, and the Steelers again share first place in the AFC Central, this time with the Browns at 8-5.
Even though Pittsburgh not known as a comeback team, they scored 20 unanswered points.
That'll do it. Final numbers, Steelers 20, Chargers 16. For Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui. We'll be back in a moment.